you doing?
There we go. Sorry. Mic issue.
You say
Oh,
mic issue?
Oh, I was just... yeah, I forgot I was on Bluetooth mode. It happens all the time. I'm like, what's wrong? What did I do? I'm like going into all the settings and I'm like, oh, just have to press the button.
No worries.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do, I obviously want Eli here, obviously with the full party, but if we could end earlier and him not being here helps that, certainly does help. Because I just started my new job this week, and, it's, I have to get up considerably earlier than I used to.
Well, I haven't heard from him yet. He didn't really weigh in on if he's okay starting earlier. But yeah, I mean it's like a 15-minute difference. Is it that bad if it's 15 minutes later?
Well, I'm not gonna say I'm dropping the campaign. But to be honest, I would have asked for 30 minutes. But obviously, that's a more of a serious ask, and originally you run your games at 5:30, so I just at least wanted to move it a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
because I get up at 5 now every day, so it's and if we go until 11:45 for me, it's tough. Even though it's a Friday, it's still a tough day.
Yeah. I mean, we can, like I said, once I hear from James, see what he has to say, and figure out from there if he would mind going a little bit earlier. But,
Yeah, I mean, for now, I can tough it out. It's not too. I don't have to go in every single day, but just Thursdays and Fridays I have to go into the office. So
yeah, I get you. All right, I think everyone is here. I just looks like I need one more on Roll20.
Oh, that would be me.
And does anyone want to play Raldo or Leroux? I'm not sure if we're going to be getting into combat this week, but if we do, since there's only 4 of you, does anyone want to control the NPCs?
I'll play Raldo.
Alright, Raldo is... I think you played him before, right?
I think so. Yeah.
He's pretty straightforward.
Ranger. She's an archer, so.
And Leroux is basically a kind of an archer as well, but a little bit of magic to her. But we don't have to have her in. All right. Well, we are on session 189 of the Splitlanders. Glenn, looks like you have first rights to journal if you want them.
Anybody want to save me?
I mean, you can just pass if you don't want to do it.
I'll pass.
All right.
This week I'm just not feeling.
Looselog, you would be next. Do you want to do journal?
I do, but I'm gonna be like a half an hour late next session, so I wouldn't be here to read it.
All right. What about Malin?
sorry, no, usually I'd be jumping at it. I'm passing today. I'm absolutely beat.
Estrella. Are you there, Estrella?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it.
Alright, so...
I was gonna say, it's like, I can,
Thank
I
you.
just... I don't want to make anyone else read my journals.
Okay.
I don't mind reading your journals. I think I did that at least once or twice.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if
I love
she's
her
gonna,
character.
yeah, if
Her
she's
character's
not gonna be here to read, that's probably better
But yeah,
if someone else's. Alright, so Estrella is the scribe for this week. Eli was the previous scribe, which unfortunately he's not here. Did post, so I'll give him credit for that. I think you were all here last time, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone needs too much of a recap as it is. I guess I could give one from my notes.
I'd be fine with reading Eli's if people want. Otherwise, your
Oh.
notes are from, yeah.
Yeah, sure. If you want to give Eli's a read, we can do it that way.
All right. 58th of Spring, the one where we borrow a man's body and turn a guy into a kitten. After a well-deserved rest, we woke up feeling like cultist exterminators, with most of that mess handled, probably. We moved on to pressing matters, like accusing Earthane of grand larceny and potential villainy. Glenn took the lead, throwing out allegations that Earthane had stolen the Shadow Crystal's energy. In response, Earthane pulled a classic "wasn't me," complete with nervous energy and the promise that he knew the real thief. A mysterious someone was on their way to meet us. Fantastic. Cue detective mode. We theorize about the culprit, leaning towards someone hiding in the shadows or someone ridiculously powerful. One name that made us all nervous, Hollowhand, a member of Nightweather. The good news, the church gave us some magical items. The bad news, we might be making enemies with people who could turn us into smoldering piles of regret. Then Earthane returned, shaking in his boots. He asked for a private chat, but thanks to a little divine compulsion, his secrets spilled for everyone to hear. Turns out he's been hunting down a guy named Hadrian, who, surprise, surprise, is the one who likely stole the crystal's energy. Malin, in a rare moment of sincerity and personal growth, let us in on the fact that Hadrian is a war-forged lunatic who gives zero cares about human life. Even better, he willingly made himself fully warforged. Red flags everywhere. Malin, deeply concerned, admitted that he and Earthane had worked with Hadrian before, and the guy scares him. Great. We officially have a powerful psychotic warforged on the loose. Meanwhile, Uslog pressed Earthane for more honesty, because let's be real, trust issues are justified. Earthane, trying to clear his name, insisted he'd keep searching for Hadrian. With that minor existential crisis out of the way, we pivoted back to priorities, getting Uslug's people home and finding Glenn's children. We also had unfinished business, like the whole people turned into monsters situation. Speaking of which, Orin was still missing in action, so we went to check on him. Turns out he was in a magical coma. Xerxes figured it was because of a severed magical connection, and offered to investigate, on the condition that we don't mention his name. Totally normal request. So naturally, we went to borrow Orin's comatose body from the church. Glenn, in his infinite wisdom, guaranteed we'd return him in a few hours, which is exactly the kind of promise that screams things will go wrong. Uslog, wielding her newfound Raven Queen authority, made sure the clerics complied. We hauled Orin's unconscious form over to Xerxes, where Magic Swirled mysterious seals were discovered and Glenn cast Modified Memory, and just like that, Orin was back. Orin, now lucid, shared his cultist-filled fever dream. A Shadar Kai with a white owl had offered him mysterious essences for trade, but he couldn't remember the guy's name, until suddenly he did. Uslog recalled that Blackwater had a similar experience, so obviously nothing sketchy going on here at all. With our new puzzle pieces in hand, we decide to let Orin go deal with his family, but not before a classic Eli moment. He polymorphed Orin into a newborn kitten for Uslug to carry around, because nothing says trustworthy escort like carrying a tiny grumpy Orin in cat form. When some priests tried to stop us, we totally didn't lie our way past them, definitely not. Once we reached Orin's lab, Glenn pulled off a flawless performance, convincing everyone that the lab was trapped, which, to be fair, wasn't entirely untrue. The priests vacated, and Orin's sister arrived, overjoyed to see a kitten. Then, in a dramatic flourish, Eli dispelled the polymorph, revealing Orin in all his non-feline glory. With urgency, the family got to work fixing the oops, we got turned into abomination situation. Orin needed a ton of arcane components, and his sisters pitched in to reverse the transformation. After much anticipation, he cast the spell, and only one person, Ammon, changed back. Everyone else? Still abominations. Astra tried to convince Orin to keep going, but the spell had hit a wall. With our options running thin, Eli opened a teleportation circle and we all headed back to the sanctuary. Rune, ever resourceful, restored the still monstrous family members in her magic mirror, which, by the way, already contained a Baelor, Hezro, Dire Troll, and Shadow Dancer, so, a lovely collection. Meanwhile, Uslug's tribe was ready to head home, but some had found love and weren't too thrilled about leaving, because nothing complicates an exodus like a little romance. We debated our next moves, taking the mirror back, Rune joining an expedition, and ensuring every precaution was taken. And that's where we left off, with a warforged madman on the loose, a magical family half-fixed, a mirror full of nightmares, and a kitten-based infiltration strategy that somehow worked.
That was a great recap. I should give
That's
him 3.
fantastic.
I should give him 3 story points for that.
In that case, Uslug gets 5 every time.
No.
'Cause, some of you are very good storytellers. I applaud it. But anyway, thank you for that recap. So we go back to the game world, where it's the 50th of spring at 5:20 p.m. I believe you were back in Devaldia, or you were sending the mirror back there with Orin and his people, because he was going to keep working on a cure for
Yeah, I
his
think
family.
we're putting Rune in charge of that whole
So
expedition.
Rune,
I mean, well, I think we're going with, but
I mean, you don't have to. Rune says she's happy to take care of it. She'll bring some of the Midnight Pyre people back with her to keep an eye on the mirror. So
Fine.
if you want to go handle other things, you can, or if you want to hang out with her, that's fine too. So yeah, you are currently at your base within the Shadowfell.
well, I'm satisfied that Rune's knowledge, the mirror buying some time, and Orin and his family's resources are the best we can do for them for now. What do you guys think?
Wait, where is the map of your base, or am I just blind? Sorry, just give me one moment here. It's in the story area? I know I have a map of your base. I'm not going crazy, I hope. Is it under dungeons?
The Twilight, or the
Twilight's Edge, I believe.
Aldrin's Watch, or
Think
Twilight's
Twilight's Edge.
We should really decide what
There
we're
it
going
is.
to do with that big essence we have from the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh
Sure,
yeah,
you
that's
do have
right.
a couple of unique essences that you could.
I know you said that it could be used to enhance the spell, and I know I threw the idea out there of making the Magnificent Mansion
more powerful.
like a permanent thing, so that we could essentially just use that as our base and have like unlimited storage.
Like leave our stuff behind and it still be there when you conjure the portal the next time.
Yeah. And even be able to like leave people there, you know.
Yeah.
Basically,
have that
make
as
it
our
a
camp.
permanent pocket dimension.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we go back to the same pocket dimension each time instead of it being like a reset.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good idea. I
think
don't have any other
yeah.
better ones.
Best one I've heard.
The only downside I think is that we only have one person who can access it.
That's
Like-
yeah. I mean,
If you're not around, then the rest of us are SOL.
Maybe it
I mean,
could
I'd
be
also-
a device of some sort.
that's true. Maybe it could be a turn. I could distill like I don't know like how crazy Lou's gonna let us get, but maybe I could put the modified spell into a ring, and the ring is a magic item that just lets you cast the modified version once per day.
I suppose maybe we could all put some story points towards something, that was a collective like way to access it or backup access or something. Yeah, I'm down for that.
To do it requires basically you'll need some lore, like research, probably some story points, and possibly some components to depending on how crazy you want to go with what it can do, how you're going to modify
So,
the
like,
spell.
But like, would putting the spell into a magic item, like a ring that casts a spell once per turn, is that something that would be possible then?
Anything is possible.
Okay.
I just have to look at your, like, if you want it to be an action that you like snap your fingers and all suddenly just appear in your modified mansion, like that's probably not going to be a thing, but you could suggest it and I'll think about it.
Okay, because that would also let me prepare a different spell, for my 7th level spell instead of Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion, and it would essentially just take care of a lot of the like not fun tracking and like encumbrance work that the game has. We could just be like, okay, well, we've got our Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion. Whoever has the ring can cast the modified version 1 per day. It always goes back to the same pocket dimension, so like that's where we can leave, everything we don't want to carry with us. And
Well,
that'll essentially be it'll essentially be like a mobile camp.
I mean, you still have to record what's in there, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like we wouldn't have to worry. It's like, oh, we can't. Like the camp can only hold this much because we only have this many workers. Things like that. And
Or
it can
the camp's
essentially
on another plane right now.
Yeah, like it can be a mobile. It'd be able to be a
It's
mobile
true.
camp.
It would make it much easier for your people to follow you around. They might be a little bit nervous about being stuck in your camp until you let them out in your pocket dimension, but...
Well, and we would just say that, we open it once per day at the end of the day, so and be basically like, hey, you guys can stay here, but, you're going to be here for a full 24 hours if you want to stay. But it's totally... But, I mean, it's basically like Paradise,
Yeah,
plus.
a little
So
utopia.
it's just like, oh, no, I have to stay here for a full
stuck at the
day.
spa.
If you can't
getting
get
this
out, you can still starve to death in paradise, right?
Well, we'll leave a bunch of rations. Well, hey, I've got servants there that serve like a
Isn't
10-course
there
meal. I
something?
think it says.
Yeah, isn't there something in the spell
does
description
it
that says that like
just...
food is conjured or something?
Yeah, though if you make the place permanent, that might change a little, because it happens as part of the casting, whereas if it's just connecting it to a pocket dimension, then it would be a little different, because the spell... Yeah, since you're not, like, generating the place each time, which is what, like, the 7th level magic is kind of what creates it. If, like, the ring just activates, like, a connection to it, then, yeah, like, you probably would have to feed, or at least... I mean, they could probably have food in there, as long as they weren't stuck in there for, like, a couple of months.
Since you can make it whatever you want, Glenn, then make sure you put some nice gardens in that are fully, stocked with vegetables and fruit trees and stuff.
That's true, and and it's already I've already got it like his kind of an elven forest place. I could just generate so that there's game in the forest, so Raldo can have something to do while he's bored. You can go hunt some game.
Yeah, and that's like that's not only like sustenance but also like pastime.
Yeah,
it's like
we
so
can...
wild to like Ooslog's brain that you can hunt like not real things and still get real sustenance from it. Like she's never quite wrapped her head around that.
And there's and we could hire some farmers. Be like, hey, would you like to live in a mobile paradise in a pocket dimension?
Just conjure like serve like the like servants to do the
Well,
farming.
I
like,
mean,
they do the
this-
Join us in our pocket
This
dimension
place does
paradise.
have a limit on how big it can be. You're not generating like a country inside this pocket
Well,
dimension.
yeah, I know.
Like you don't have room for like a bunch
Compound.
of farms everywhere
Just a
in like a
compound
10-mile
that's
area.
able to support a few dozen people.
Yeah, it's like it would like there'll be like a small forest around the encampment. Like it's what Glenn designs, but I would say because you're making it permanent, like I said, it's not going to necessarily generate food or animals each time. Like it probably will, once you set it in stone, will just be a place that you can access. Because, if it was resetting, then it would kick everyone out and have to rebuild itself each time. So, but that would be part of the research you do to see what effects you can have. But I am happy to work with you on that if you have an idea. It'll just take, like I said, probably some lore story points and maybe some components.
Yeah, because I was thinking of other things. I'm trying to think of other, like powerful spells that would be worth, maybe like, maybe like being able to upgrade Wall of Force or something, or like a spell maybe that like doesn't have like a powerful spell at night doesn't
Well, I
require
think the
concentration
essence.
or something. Or I don't know.
I mean, if you
I think
wanted
the
to connect it to a ring, you could probably, it probably wouldn't be limited to access once a day. It might just take a while for the ring to open the gate. Maybe like a couple of times per day you could go in and access this place.
I
But,
think that
yeah.
I think there was other
like that idea.
uses for the essence besides just augmenting a spell. That was just one of the options, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Okay.
it's kind of a catch-all to people can be creative and have ideas to like research things that wouldn't necessarily normally be available. You could also possibly get a permanent ability out of it connected to Nessie, like maybe her blast, that necrotic blast she was doing. It wouldn't be as powerful, obviously, but you could maybe gain a permanent ability to do something like that. Like just a ranged attack that was fairly powerful. But the more it had to do with the creature that it came from, the less it would cost story point wise if you're creative with it and make it make sense story wise. But again, you do whatever you want. I kind of left it a little vague so you guys could come up with creative stuff to do with it.
I like the camp idea so far, but
Yeah. But anyway, so you are at your base here. The Children of Shadow, as well as several Celestials, roam the grounds. Uslag, you are greeted by many of them. They congratulate you on your recent accomplishments. Many noticing your change. What do you all want to do? If you want, I can be more specific and RP some of the encounters. I'm just keeping it vague right now because I'm not sure what you guys want to do.
I mean, I think Uslag would probably she wouldn't say much to them, but just nod and, yeah, move on. They still make her a little bit uneasy.
Yeah. No worries.
So, are we done here? For now? She would ask.
Ah.
I mean, there's always more to do.
I mean, well, now that
we
I
still
mean, to
haven't
be
found
honest,
that portal or the platform, but
Yeah, I mean that Arden is still probably running around here, and he is the guy who is responsible for turning Arabelle to a twinkle twinkle little star.
Literally,
But
you got a star druid in place.
but well, I mean, like it's not that big of a decision. Like now that we Xerxes can just take his tower, can teleport back and forth like there's no tomorrow. We can literally.
Well, I think Eli can now as well because he now knows circles at our tower and Xerxes' tower. Well, maybe not Xerxes' tower, but here on the Shadowfell.
He says, well, I can move through the Shadowfell using Circle of Teleportation. And if we want to move across worlds, I believe I can do that, though just a lot less often.
Sure.
Like once a day, or?
Yeah, I think it's once per day he can planeswalk.
Well, and I can also help move us around within the single plane, either within Gaian or within the Shadowfell with my tree walk. But it's still kind of studying the plane shift magic.
Yeah.
I might have that in the future.
Raldo would say, I'm always here to help you guys out, though. If we don't go back to Gaian soon, I might just head back and have you all contact me when you decide to come back to the prime material plane. All this darkness gets to me a little. I miss the woods. I miss the animals in the snowy norths. So
That's
if you don't
interesting.
decide to go back, I might try to get Xerxes to just bring me back, and just meet you when you're back in town.
I don't blame you for that. I'm eager to get back myself.
Yeah.
He says maybe I'll go back with the Suntooth clan. Sounds like you're sending them back soon.
What's the
Yeah.
sky like on the Shadowfell?
It's kind of like it's you mean during the day?
Well, yes. I mean, are there celestial bodies like the sun and the moon and the stars and stuff?
So there's always kind of a dreariness. It's kind of dark and gray a lot of the time. Sometimes the sun shines through, but it's still not very bright. That's why it's
Like a light.
almost always low
Kind of like a
light.
cold light.
Are there stars at night, or is it more cloudy and like less clear?
There are stars at night, but the darkness is more prevalent than it is in the prime material plane. So you can still see the stars, but there's not as much light getting to the ground. 'Cause it's almost like something in the sky in the area around kind of dims all light that comes down.
I'm rather eager to see clear stars again myself.
He says, yeah, I miss the night sky, I miss the trees, the cold north, the animals. He says, I'm sure the woods here have animals, but this place creeps me out. No offense to any of you who come from here, just not my cup of tea. So, I'll be eager to get home when I can. As soon as I can. Laro says, I'm eager to get back too. I think, actually, let me check something with her. She says, I have more work I could do here, but I need to get in touch with some of my contacts back on Gaian. After that, I might end up heading back here to continue working with the Midnight Pyre. You all have been a very valuable resource getting me in touch with these people working against the Children of Shadow. So I think there's a lot I can accomplish working with them, if you're not going to be working with them.
So I'm
Well-
guessing you've worked out all of the stuff with you having stolen something from them or something.
She says, yeah,
Water under the bridge.
I spoke with some of their people after I told them about working with you. They were more forgiving, and I was able to smooth over the misunderstanding that had occurred.
Who is speaking?
Laro, the drow mercenary that you took in. She hasn't done too much. She's mostly been hanging out with Eli and kind of learning the ways of magic.
The name of the artificer in Dazoric. Was it Dazoric?
Chevreau.
Okay, that's who I keep thinking of when you say Laro. So that's where my
Oh.
okay, gotcha. All right, gotcha. 'Cause
Sounds like it, but
doesn't,
yeah, it's something
doesn't
different.
work. I'm like, no, that can't be right. I've got this wrong. But that's what my brain keeps going to. So okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, if you guys do end up going back to Gaian, I might just stay here. Although, like I said, there are people I need to get in touch with. I think I can still do that using sending. If I find someone who can cast sending.
Well, hold up. So, before we go and decide to fulfill our destiny in night weather, we still have to deal with the Shadow Lord's forces here. Yeah, we haven't cleaned up all the Children of Shao here, and we also have eventually down the line, or probably have to deal with what's going on with the Fae. Looks like they're also doing something very similar that they did with the Frost Giants down there. So, I mean, honestly, I feel like, we just haven't been to camp in a very, very long time. For all we know, we're going to show up and Gavrex has just, man spread himself all over the place. Or Aranye has, blown it to smithereens. So
turned our allies into animal people.
Raldo
see,
says,
that's
are you
possible.
talking about the tower where we left our people?
Yeah, so I feel like we should go there, check up, bring Uslag's people back, to Gaian, go on there, do 1-2 day quick check, make sure everything's fine. And then I'm down to just come right back here and or even finish where finish what we started, trying to clean out the children's shadow. I mean, we basically
Do we have any leads of where we would follow next in order to work against the children or to find Arden Relic?
Well, the way we can probably approach this is quite similar to how it's quite similar to what Orin did through the black market, and we might be able to that's how he ran into Arden. And I know we were against this idea, but they were willing to just talk.
Oh, wait, what's his name joined your camp, didn't he? What's his name? Your other character.
Thane?
Althane?
Earthane? He didn't. He
Earthane.
left. I think I got that one. He was like, "All right, I'll let you know when I'm done, when I find more about Hadrian."
Oh, that's
Or he
right, because
messaged
you
me.
guys were kind of fighting, and he got annoyed and took off.
He got snarky with me. Yeah, we got snarky at each other, and he's like, "Just message me if you want to know more."
Yeah,
and then he
send me
stormed off.
ascending. Yeah, so he's looking for Hadrian.
Hadrian.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, let me just make a note of that.
So, but yeah, I feel I did, waltz in and just yell to all of Uslak's clan that they're going home tomorrow. So I would feel a little bad if we were like, actually, guys, give us another week. So, and like I said, we probably should check up on what's going on over there, because that is literally our entire home base.
Yeah, I thought we were rather decided that we were going to return to Gaian with the Suntooth clan, but I think what we do after that, so that whether we stay or return, is, I think, still up for.
I think, yeah, we take 1-2 days, go back, drop them off, make sure everything's fine in our camp. Tell Xerxes to go and check out our tower, see if he notices anything, I guess, and then we can go right back here and try to pick up the trail.
That's a good idea, actually, having Xerxes look at the tower, since it's definitely been tampered with.
Uslag's looking to Glenn just to see how, kind of trying to read whether, how he's feeling about this. What do you think, Glenn? I'm sure you want to get back to your,
Yeah, but I know this stuff is, in the grander scheme of things, important too, so I don't know, I'm obviously a little split. I have my own troubles I'd like help with, but
it is imperative that we go and save your kids. I agree that is of utmost priority. To be honest, I don't think we're gonna spend that much longer in the Shadowfell when we come back. But I'm not who am I to tell a man who's spent ages away from his kids to go and say that's
so.
Give us another week.
And just a point of order, Glenn, you have been sending reports to the Blackwaters as per the activities of the group, right? Like you've continued to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's kind of like I have. That's
keeping up appearances.
If we don't have specific leads, if we need to put our ear to the ground and mess around in the shadow market to find our next steps, then perhaps leaving Leroux and other allies here and maybe doing that for us and then contacting us when they have a lead would allow us some time to pursue some other quests and wrap up other loose ends while we wait. It's a possibility, I thought,
Yeah. If we want to
So-
go, break in and get saves Glenn's kids, we could.
LaRoe says, well, maybe we should have a meeting with some of the Midnight Pyre people now that we're kind of at a crossroads. I've spoken to a few of them myself, and they have mentioned wanting to speak with the group about our plans moving forward, maybe give us some information where they're at. So that could be a good next step if you all are trying to figure out what you wish to do next.
And who's speaking?
This is LaRoe again, the
LaRoe again,
drow.
okay. All right.
I mean, yeah, if they have information on something they can contribute to finding out, then yeah, I mean, yeah, let's talk to them real quick.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Let me go speak with Velik, and we'll have a meeting tonight, because I know he's in Aldrin's watch right now. Probably has to come here and get everything sorted on that end at Aldrin's watch.
Alright.
So she'll leave the conversation for the time being as she goes to get in contact with him.
Remind me, do the Midnight Pyre have a presence in Devaldia?
They do. Well, they have people everywhere. They have agents all over.
Okay.
But most of their people are in hiding because the government, the religious, or the
Church.
theocratic socialist government of the Shadow Elves does not like them.
Okay. Well, I think we do probably want to make sure that we have a few key point people among our allies around the Shadowfell. Someone with the Pyre rune, of course, there with the Delora, is that the name? The family name?
Yeah.
To just keep in touch with the goings on and get updates more easily. I think it would be good if there's a little bit of a network here communicating with each other and then contacting us and us contacting them when needed.
All right. Yeah, because actually most of the people here, I think...
Well, and I guess Rune probably has the magic to communicate with other allies of the Pyre around the Shadowfell on their own if they need to. I guess we don't necessarily need to arrange that. So yeah, we might be fine.
People? Oh, these are Uslog's people. Okay. So if all these people leave, the only people left here are going to be the Celestials.
Right, but the Midnight Pyre is holding Aldrin's watch, right? So that's...
Yes, but they're not holding the Twilight Sanctuary. This place is all you guys, which was mostly Uslog's clan. Who else is here?
I see.
Yeah, because
I
if you look at the
Really?
Twilight Sanctuary section, most of them are Uslog's people.
I see. And which ones wanted to stay behind? We could kind of leave them in charge, I guess. Working with the Celestials, of course.
Oh, that's true. I think, who was it? Was it
Well, definitely Evel.
Evel, that's right.
Evel and a bunch of unnamed ones.
Yeah, Evel and some of the others did want to stay behind. Is Tanif here?
That name does not sound familiar.
He was the crazy elf.
Oh!
From the,
Tanif, yeah.
Oh, he's the gatekeeper. That's right. He, like, you actually. Okay, so he's not actually here. He's in the.
No.
When you originally came here, he's the one who opened the gate into this place. But now that you've got here, you have other
Utzlog
ways
wouldn't
of-
remember that.
Yeah, so actually, he would not be here.
I mean, Freya's here. I guess Utzlog could check in
I'm
with
going to
her and see how
reveal
she
all
feels.
your other people to the players, since they would know they're here now. 'Cause right now there's a bunch of people who I have hidden. I should probably just have them showing. Although they're all
But,
probably
like-
gonna go home soon.
What my list of Suntooth people.
Yeah, you have a bunch of Suntooth people here. I guess some of them are revealed already. Alright. Well, I'm just kind of passing time while I'm doing this anyway. So if you guys want to speak with each other about what you want to do next, I just need a minute to reveal these people.
I mean, you want to just head to the tower now, and then Well, I don't know. So we have to wait. Sorry, my bad. We have to go.
We have a
talk
meeting
to,
tonight. Yeah.
That's right.
Meeting with
Meetings.
with your allies, the Midnight Pyre. And then
yeah.
tomorrow, I guess you're sending a lot of these people home. Who's Luca Thornberry?
Yeah, because irregardless of the meeting, I think we're gonna go back no matter what, and go back to Guy and check up on our place. And just a question of, based on the meeting, are we then gonna go right back here and be like, all right, we're just gonna finish up our work, or we're gonna be like, no, they got it. We're gonna,
Do you remember who Luca Thornberry? That was a player who left, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put him.
There's probably also Gao,
Yeah.
like somewhere here
Satyan,
as
fellow
well.
Satyan.
I'm gonna move him. I'm gonna move everyone who was a former player to the former players because they kind of poof out of the story unless they come back. Xylia as well. Although I guess she's kind of part of the clan, so she's relevant. I don't have a picture of her anymore.
A lot of them don't have pictures. I do have a list of
Yeah. Well, her
other
picture
Suntooth members
broke.
that aren't really.
She had a picture, but it broke. So I'll just remove it. I kind of have her token picture, which is weird.
Do you have? Yeah, I think you have. Because I think I only gave you like two pictures, like Ivor and.
So I'll say,
Kristoff.
out of the people, Evil and Xylia and obviously Rune's gonna stay. Yeah, so out of the named people, Evil and Xylia are the two that want to stay. Frey and Una and all those other people you have in there would want to leave and go back home, along with the other unnamed members of the tribe. I'll say maybe like 2 or 3 other Suntooth want to stay as well. Keep fighting with the Midnight Pyre. So maybe like a very small group. Alright, so I guess I'll pass some time till the meeting tonight. Unless any of you want to do anything.
Do we have time for downtime things?
What time is it? It is 5:20, so now it would be too late. You could do other things that require less time, but yeah, for the 8 hours, it would put you past midnight at this point.
You guys have little things. Nothing too big.
I got nothing, so if anyone needs help with something.
Glenn, you've got some time for training?
Yeah, I have time for training.
Maybe they train a little bit, but at some point she would check in. Just say, so we'll probably go back to Guyan soon, so must be looking forward to seeing your kids soon.
Yeah, I guess I'm worried too.
What about? I mean, it's a tricky situation.
Well, it's been a few years since I've seen them out. They still remember me.
But they do. What are their names?
Well, I've got Aramis. He's 8.
Oh.
He's fascinated with magic ever since he could talk.
Here.
And then his younger sister Ruby. She's 6. She's strong. She takes after her mother. She'd always bully Aramis around since he was more of a bookworm.
Oh. Sounds like an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, and he kind of has a moment of realization as he looks at her and thinks for a second. And is like, maybe I kind of have a type.
Yeah.
But been away from him for a long time, so I hope they I don't know. I hope they can forgive me.
I think they'll be glad to have their dad back. I bet you're an awesome father.
Well, thank you. I try. I mean, everything I've done has been towards getting them back, but I guess I should have realized by now that was never going to happen. They're just going to keep them on a stick, basically, and they're just never going to let them go.
The Blackwaters are devious, but I trust that we'll get your kids back, Glenn.
Thank you for helping me. I kind of holds a sword and looks at it. I said, I realize if I'm going to get them back, I need to get my own hands dirty too. I can't expect Ben Malin to do all the fighting.
Well, be happy to fight next to you. She just gives me a smile.
Smiles back. Hopefully, I won't embarrass you guys.
No way. I guess.
Alright. Go ahead, sorry.
I wonder if I wonder how perceptive the others are.
Yeah, I mean, haven't exactly been subtle, but
well, Malin's kind of a blockhead, so he probably hasn't realized.
And Estrella's got her head in the stars.
Yeah, Estrella. I feel like Estrella's perceptive, but she's kind of.
Maybe not looking for the right thing.
Yeah, I don't think she cares. She strikes me as
I don't know
like.
that she doesn't care, but yeah, kind of.
She strikes me as like an old stoner.
We have one of those in the movie group.
Our characters like Estrella. That's what Estrella strikes me as is like my old fucking sign language teacher that just like went through the hippie era and like doesn't want to let it go. And like it's just like, yeah, I took drugs, so what?
Oh.
Totally off. That is just like I don't know. It's just what I picture Estrella. It's just like, yeah, you took drugs.
And if Malin knew, he wouldn't stop giving you shit about it. So I definitely don't think he knows.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I can anything he throws at me, I can throw back 1,000-fold. Yeah. Never
Yeah.
one up. He'll never one up someone like me. But anyway.
Oh. I when I told you how I felt earlier, I used the word think quite a bit. But truth is I know how I feel, and I don't have a way with words, and I just wasn't sure how to let you know, but yeah,
He smiles. I thank you for saying that. I already knew, but I appreciate you saying it.
Words are hard. I tend to be more action-oriented.
So
They
as
are.
you two are talking, it sounds like there is a commotion somewhere in the northern part of the barracks area.
Oh, I wanted to have a separate conversation as they were talking. Damn it.
Well, you can I mean, you probably can have
Yeah,
one
we could
later.
pause it there and
But you are interrupted as I just rolled something, and whether or not
Good
you want to go see
timing.
what's going on is up to you. But you do hear some commotion.
He just looks at Slag and just sighs. We never have a moment to ourselves, can we?
I guess we should go check that out.
Yeah, let's make sure Melon's not burning something down.
Guys, if we ask everyone to leave, then set the barracks on fire, it's not evil.
No, what do you mean?
It's
Oh, yeah.
Gonna pay for
restructuring
it.
our base. It's
We were-
fine.
We were gonna pay for it.
We're gonna pay.
Oh,
for
Mexico was gonna pay for it, but
Mexico's gonna pay for the wall. All right. So if you head up there, you would see coming down from the stairwell. Several other Celestials are here already, and there are some gasps as you see winged angels, those black winged ones, along with a familiar face. The Veil Walker seems to have returned. She would see Uslag come running up and kind of smile and say, the child of the Raven Queen. I was hoping I'd find you here. She says you are...
in the bar.
Sorry, what?
And like after she says that, he like butts it in, like side kind of like softly, and Glenn the bar.
Yes,
She says, indeed.
we are here.
I had heard of your victory over the Children of Shadow, thwarting their latest attempt to create more of those accursed soul stones, abominations. So I wanted to congratulate you. Also, the Raven Queen has sent me to be an ally to you and your people in this base. I hope to bring more of our Celestials to bear against the forces of our enemies, along with these Midnight Pyre. She says, I have been working on other matters up until recently, but I'm happy to say that the will of the Raven Queen has been done in many places throughout the Shadowfell, and now my place is here to assist you all. So she walks over and nods at you, maybe like puts a hand on your shoulder. She says, you've been through a lot, child, but you've shown your faith to our goddess, and she has seen it.
Okay.
She says, I can feel... What did you say? Okay.
She's just like, okay. It's,
I feel there might be some uncertainty within you. Is everything all right?
well, as much as there was before. A little bit, if I'm honest, but I think I'm more sure now that this is the right path for me.
She says, what troubles you?
I just...
Perhaps I can help.
I am blinking on words.
Perhaps you lack the words to express yourself now. This is fine.
As usual.
We can speak later if something bothers you. As I said, I've been sent as a resource to you and your group. The Raven Queen has a vested interest in the success of you all moving forward as allies against the Shadow Lords and their kind. So, what does that mean?
Definitely
Well,
a cause that we share.
yes, and
sure.
what that means we can perhaps talk about later, as I feel I might be interrupting something. And she kind of looks at you, then looks at Glenn.
I don't know what
Nora.
you're talking about.
And she just smiles and says, I'll come speak with you all later. For now, I assume one of the barracks rooms I can claim as my own.
They'll mostly be empty by tomorrow. Anyway, because my people are heading back to Gaian.
Yeah, besides, I don't see anyone trying to say no to you.
She smiles and says, I appreciate that. And she will walk past towards the barracks. I'll say, Malin and Estrella would show up probably about now. Maybe you guys were a little further south in the base. You would see, I don't know if you guys know who this is. Do you?
No, oh wait, I don't think we met her.
I can't remember if
I don't
was
think...
still at Arpel when we've seen her.
No, because
previously.
Uslag was the only one who went and like talked to her originally, and then we were like, it was gonna be like, we need to have a private conversation with Uslag. I'm like, okay, and she went there, and she's like, I talked to someone, but we've never actually met her.
Glenn's talked to her, and Uslag's talked to her.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like I know I was in her presence with Arapel. I just can't remember if any of the times you've talked to her have been since I switched to Estrella or not. So I'm gonna go with no.
So
okay, I think you all have at least glimpsed her because I think you all were in the the temple area when Uslag first kind of like not summoned her, because I mean, who summons Jolly Walker of the Veil, but like
she came
her.
in wanting to see one of the prisoners, and that's And Glenn ran into her first and was like, "Oh shit, where's Uslag?" And then we all kind of gathered, and she talked to one of the prisoners that Uslag had.
Yeah. So
I still haven't talked to Remy.
No, actually, Remy. Well, anyway, you wouldn't know what's going on with him. But as the rest of you come up, you would see her there. She looks very similar, kind of a bunch of contrast. She's got very pale white skin, like white orbs for eyes, and this like dark black dress on that kind of flows over her. Flowers in her hair, very long hair, braided, kind of several braids coming down. One over her shoulder, several about halfway down her back. Not very tall, probably only about maybe like 5'4", maybe a little tall for an elven woman. But yeah, she just kind of almost like flows, like you don't even feel like she's walking, almost like just floating down the hallway as she moves, her dress kind of hiding her feet. Several much larger, standing more like 6'4" to 6'6", dark-winged angels move with her, though you get the feeling they're more scared of her than she is of them. Or maybe scared's the wrong word, maybe like more respected. But yeah, all of them have dual blades, and they just kind of, several follow her and several others move towards the cathedral. Here, I think I have a picture of them if you don't remember what they look like. The Shadow Mane Angels.
Oh damn, that's a impressive sight.
Yeah. So they just kind of walk past you as you come running up, not really making much, not really chatting much with you, just continuing on with, looks like their duties. And you would also see, what were they called? The Divas, because there's a couple of Divas here as well. I think I have a picture of them. She brought like 5 or 6 angels with her here. Let me see if I can find.
Brought Beyonce?
Picture. She brought.
A little posse.
Let me say divas.
Well, I guess that solves our concerns. I guess that solves our concerns about holding the sanctuary, huh?
Yeah, so several Twilight Divas as well.
I think this place will be okay without us.
There's like basically 5 angels in her, so at least some more people showed up.
I mean, shit, the place is probably more safe now. I wouldn't want to fuck with them.
I think
If Shadow Elves weren't creepy enough, Boulder Bottom says.
My former party members told me that they had to fight some of these angels when they were trying to get here.
Didn't you
This,
have to fight them as well?
Wait, did I?
I think you
you
fought a bunch
Freya?
of them. There was
I thought
those
she
in the
was
prison that you
Freya.
fought.
Oh, okay. So once
Oh.
once I
Oh,
can't
were you
yeah.
playing as?
I can't remember when I was Freya and when I was Uslog sometimes,
You may
but
have
I
been
know
Freya.
that right,
Yeah, it may
yeah,
have happened
yeah, yeah.
after you died. So yeah, maybe
Yeah.
you were Freya.
Well, I thought you said that they were somehow corrupted or enthralled or something. Like the angels, like weren't themselves. They weren't
Yeah.
Yali's angels or
For sure.
the Raven's Queen's
Well,
servants. At the
corrupted or
time.
not, they are fierce opponents. So
Oh yeah.
best to stay on their good side.
Well, these ones don't seem corrupted. Boulder Bottom would say.
Oh no, yeah. But still just as dangerous. If
Yep,
crossed.
still wouldn't want to mess with them.
Um,
Alright. Did you say you wanted to have a discussion, Malin?
Yes, but my point was I was as Glenn and Uslag were talking, I was gonna have a discussion with everyone but them.
Oh, alright. Well, do you
it's
want
been happening at the same time.
Okay, so you want to say you had a discussion with everyone while they were talking?
Yes,
Okay, so who were you having a discussion with? Just Estrella?
me, Estrella. I mean, I guess Eli. Well, Eli, yeah, Boulder Bottom, and Diddy.
Alright, so we'll rewind a bit. What were you talking about before she showed up?
Okay, guys.
Flashback.
Now I've been thinking, but honestly, I don't know what probably Glenn's been acting too much like a blockhead lately. But dude, I think no, I've been picking up on some hints. But do we think that him and Uslag are have a thing going on?
I
Like,
feel like
me and Glenn, get on each other's nerves a lot, but, one time I just wanted to talk to Uslag, and he was, ready to, psychic lance me. And I was like, well, that was a little, I was like, he's been acting a little off kilter lately. So I feel like we need to call a team meeting to discuss this.
How is he trying to psychic lance you? I don't remember that. Boulder Bottom says.
Well, I don't think he's ever actually. Actually, no. We have. I mean, we've literally played a prank on you before, and I thought we were just gaslighting you. Wait, no, never mind. We just gaslighted
Yeah,
you.
that wasn't very funny, he says.
Well, think that, but actual spells. So, really, you wouldn't put it past him?
Says you think he would actually hurt you? Doesn't seem.
Well,
like
no. I
it.
mean, I've thrown him into the wall before. Yeah, it's
Just throwing casual 4th level spells at each other.
Says, I don't, Glenn seems like a good guy most of the time. I don't think you have to worry. I mean, if you want to talk
No,
to him
I'm not
about
saying. No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just wanted to have a team discussion that unless I'm loopy.
it, says,
No,
well,
I think I think there's definitely been some extra whispering in the corners and private conversations stepped away from the group and glances.
I'm saying.
so
No, they're probably
no harm there, though.
Well, I'm not. I don't think it's a I'm not overly concerned. Obviously,
Why would we
stuff-
need a team meeting about it then?
Well, no, I think this is a little bit. I would just a little cautious because this is two of our combat members. Obviously, we've had I look at you we have relationships, and that's obviously I'm not going to be hypocritical
Never
here.
been distracted by your affection for this one. I gesture at Diddy.
Well,
Is Diddy
yeah,
there?
yeah,
I didn't think Diddy was
yeah,
there.
yeah. I called her to the meeting also.
Oh. She's like, wait, what? Oh, yeah, I mean, I can be
Hello,
distracted.
Diddy's always just off in her own world.
I just didn't know she was there. She says, "Well, I mean, if they're in a relationship now, I mean, I don't know.
Good for
Glad they're
them.
happy. What do you want to call a meeting about exactly?"
No, I was just saying, making sure that this is like, like, first off, if like, I'm not, baloney on this. Second off, I mean, it would be pretty funny. They're probably blockheads and they don't realize that everyone else is caught on. So I would be pretty funny to prank them.
She says, "What is it with you and pranks?"
Have you seen Glenn? What do you, that this is all his fault.
She says, "I don't know. I remember being in a dwarven city and having random rocks screaming at me when I'm trying to get shit done. Because you decided to put a ton of them all over the place, and everywhere I walked, it would just jump scare me."
Oh,
Well-
Erical had saved one of those, and it got disintegrated.
She says,
Aw.
"Don't, well,
Well, sweetie, after I met you, I got really I missed you a lot. So can you blame me? I can only say very
just saying
awkwardly.
your pranks aren't always as awesome as you think they are."
Okay, would you like to contribute?
Would I like to contribute? What do you mean?
Do you have a prank idea then? I mean, he's always going to you and like trying to. He was like, "Oh, I'm such a better lockpick than you."
Yeah, but
How
he's
do you
not,
feel
so I
about
don't
it? Like
care.
you've
She's-
literally, you don't feel anything after like what you being a professional heister of like I don't know how long you've been doing this for actually, but like and then some bozo comes up to you, he's like, "I'm gonna pick up lockpicking in like 10 minutes, and I'm better than you," and you're not gonna at all feel like you want to get back at him.
She says, "But he's not better than me. And also, if he was, he works with us, so why would I care?" She says, "Look, I love Glenn. He's he's a pain in my ass sometimes, but overall, I think he's a good guy. But I'm not threatened by him. He's we all have our
No,
skill sets."
I wasn't saying no. I'm not. No, obviously, Glenn is. I will be the first one out of everyone to to go out and say Glenn, is a really solid guy, and he's when push comes to shove, done me like tried to really do me a solid before, and I appreciate that. So don't get me wrong here. I'm just saying, in the. You know what? Never mind. Never mind.
She says,
Maybe
"I don't
Glenn
know.
has really maybe Glenn has really changed me. I just mutter. I'm like, all right, meeting adjourned. Whatever.
Good. Can I have those 5 minutes of my life back?
She
Yeah,
would
my
say,
bad. I'm so sorry you lost 5 minutes. It's
Did he would
lady.
say,
Why don't you go heal?
I know
the
you like
bad
your
guy again."
pranks, Malin. So if you want to do a prank on him, you have my blessing, and maybe I can help out. But I don't know. I'm not really threatened by Glenn. So just because he says he's better at me than something, maybe he is. I don't know. But I have broken into a lot more dangerous places than he has. So there's that. As I said, we all have our own skill sets.
Sorry, that's okay. That's fine. All right. Meeting adjourned. Yes, Astra, you can go back to healing Arden.
Wait,
if
do you
want.
guys hear that commotion? And we're back to the present.
Yeah. As we're approaching, I see Glenn and Ustag. I'm like, yeah, well, okay. I'm like, all right, whatever. What is such a shame.
Training.
We were just training.
Training.
All right.
Well, I mean, you're not saying that, though. All right.
So time is passing as we get into evening. I'll say around. Oh, Estrella, do you want to do anything?
No.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll say around 8 in the evening. The meeting that was set up would occur, and one of the Midnight Pyre people would come to meet you all. And where's his sheet? How did I you have given him a picture yet. You have spoken to him before. This is Velik. He was the one who was basically your contact at Aldrin's Watch. So he meets you guys here. He greets you fondly. He says, I've heard about your actions in Devaldia. It sounds like you really helped out in the effort to get rid of some, well, pretty bad cultists. We were afraid they were planning something pretty bad there, and it sounds like you were able to sort that out. So the Midnight Pyre would like to thank you. And he says, I was also curious what your next steps were, what you think you're going to be doing after this.
Well, we have considered taking care of some things on the material plane for a bit, but we would, of course, want to stay in touch and count on your people and other allies we've made here to hold the fort, so to speak.
He nods and says, oh, you would like me to have some of my people come over to the sanctuary here?
I think that the Celestials might have that covered, but just in general in the Shadowfell, we suspect that the children are still out there and up to no good, and we do not know the whereabouts of Arden Relic. So there is still probably more to be done to combat their cult, and we intend to return, but we currently have no leads, so I meant more that perhaps you all could perhaps seek some of those leads and stay in touch with our other allies here while we are away.
So we trust me, we have been engaged in an ongoing battle with their members. We're trying to figure out the location of Relic, among other people. He's his different the different sections of the Children of Shadow, or sects, I guess, have been very active throughout the Empire. So we've been doing our best to stop them at every area we can. We've pursued them quite a bit, and I think we've been mostly successful, even without the government's help. He says, but the work is never done, and we are happy to keep you in the loop if that's what you want. Are you going
Yes,
to...
especially if you locate Relic. I think that we would be most happy to arrange to fight at your side in that encounter, or whatever plan we might have to whatever use you may come up with for the information once you've located him. I think our involvement could be valuable, and we would want to be there. I look around at the others because I'm not sure why I ended up taking the lead talking in this.
I think you explained it very clearly, and
pretty
I would not have.
succinct.
Yeah.
He says, well, actually, I wanted to ask you, we had some intelligence that Relic was actually in Devaldia, so I'm surprised you didn't see him there.
I mean, we kind of
Well,
encountered him in a sense.
What do you mean?
he possessed one of the Zalora, probably. Although, yeah, he was in the black market. That's how one of the Zalora children met and got possessed by him. Or
So
yeah,
so Relic was using like some sort of charm spell to control this person?
yeah.
I see. And you're not sure what happened to him? You weren't able to, I assume you weren't able to kill him or capture him.
Well, we subdued the one that he possessed, but by the time we were able to restore that one's senses, some time had passed, and it did take a while for his memories to kind of come back to him. So, yeah.
Now you keep using the word possessed instead of a charm. What do you mean when you say possessed him?
I'm not sure if I used the right words, but in some way, it does seem that the target was Relic or whomever was at the core of this was acting through this this nobleman that was affected.
Hmm.
Was using his abilities and his body and etc.
So, almost like some sort of spiritual or ghostly possession.
Like,
Perhaps.
Interesting. That sounds more like what the Shadow Lords can do.
And you're not the first to have said that. Uslag, was it you or Xerxes or who? Someone else has mentioned
Uslag
that.
said that, yeah.
yeah, I've sort of seen the similar thing.
But Xerxes did confirm that it was not a Shadow Lord, specifically Gaibok.
Yeah,
What do you
Gaibok
mean?
would have been a whole different fight altogether.
Says so. They must be getting more powerful, or at least Relic is, if he can actually possess people.
Yeah, and the victim, I think, did actually end up naming Relic, but it was a time before he regained all the memories. But at some point, I think he did actually come up with that name.
Now, of one important thing was when we were speaking to possessed Zalora.
Formerly possessed.
He very explicitly told us that that he would like to go and he offered us to go and literally speak with Gaibok, which to speak with him means he is able to respond. So he must have somehow, in some capacity, reformed.
I see. That's unsettling.
It's rather quick. Another thing. So when we encountered the one that we later learned was being possessed or controlled or charmed, what have you, when we encountered him before we understood his ailment, he was accompanied by a white. Was it an owl?
Yes.
And when he came to his senses later, after we restored him, he mentioned that when he met Relic initially, before he became possessed, charmed, whatever, that Relic was also accompanied by a white owl. Does that owl have any meaning for any of the
Yes, the
information?
owl is Relic's pet. I don't know its name off the top of my head, but that it's almost like he's
Familiar, I'm
taunting
guessing,
us.
Yeah.
because it poofed when I killed it.
He
So.
nods. He says, "Relic is a powerful wizard, first and foremost. So, he's always had that owl. It's
I see.
it's
That definitely
something that
confirms
we've
idea then.
identified." He says, "Now you said the person who was possessed. What was their name?
Or in Zalora.
As in the noble Zalora family."
Yep.
Interesting. He says, we know they're allies to the church, but maybe this could be a chance for us to gain some favor with them. They could be helpful in our fight against the Children of Shadow."
And we may have a bit of an in on that respect. We are right now arranging for Rune to leave here and travel back to Zurich with a rather important magical artifact in which we have stored some members of the Zalora family in suspended animation until a cure can be found, because this whole episode with Orin being charmed led to some unfortunate transformations. Long story short, if you are you or your people accompany Rune as a bit of a guard for her journey and to protect that mirror, as it is very important that that does not fall into the wrong hands, then there would perhaps be some sort of edge that we have in convincing the Zalora family to accept you as an ally, as you are our ally, and we have, aided them in this and are continuing to aid them in the attempt to restore their family members, if that makes sense. An ace in the sleeve. What's the word?
He kind of laughs. He says, "I was actually about to ask you exactly that. If I could send some guards with you, perhaps to speak with Zalora or with the Zaloras on our behalf." Excellent. So if you're okay with it, we will send these people with Rune as protectors, but also as possible envoys to the Zalora family.
think that sounds
Well, I mean, yeah, there's absolutely nothing stopping from you, but it's literally just Orin
Says,
and
well,
then the
this
two
is
girls. The head of the household is little.
well, no,
incapacitated.
there's 3 of them because remember he did manage to change one of them back.
Oh
Yeah, but the
yeah, that's
father-
right.
Yeah,
You
the
guys
father
just
is still
you guys just
formed,
got
though, right?
really terrible rolls trying to assist him,
Yeah.
so he ended up
And
not
he was
being
too
able
tired to
to.
try again.
Oh, that's right. The son is fine. Oh yeah. The son's the
The
guy
whole
who
reason
original.
we ran back here was to kind of put them in the
Er,
suspended animation to buy some time so that Orin
That's
could rest and try
right.
again.
Yeah.
Be some time, but they'll be back.
I had a character. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything about them. Are they like permanently fucked, or is there? Have we
As far
kind of
as you
discovered?
know, they are. But there
Yeah, they
was
probably are.
someone had the idea to put them in the mirror to keep them kind of suspended, so like there is a chance
some
at least
smoke.
that they figure something out.
Like
But
it
as
might
of now,
already
there's
be
no
late.
that you don't have a, or at least Orin doesn't have a
Oh.
way of turning them back because
Hey,
It might already
unfortunately, like
be.
you guys rolled terrible in all the checks, so yeah.
if you let me level up twice, I can fix them.
Well, there you go. Let you gotta earn it. I don't let.
Just speed run
Uh,
this.
Wait, you said the 15th the max level for this
oh
campaign.
well, yeah. Well, you yeah, and at least for now, it would be the max level, so you might have to come back, assuming you can come back. But level 15 is pretty high. Like within
I
the
know, but
world, you're
I
like
need. Oh, I
with
know.
0.01% of powered people.
I need wish. I need wish.
Adventurers basically are like billionaires. They're just like terrible individuals that do terrible things to the world.
I
There's
go
a-
okay. I got you. Can fish.
No
it's
politics.
dead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. As we're thinking, I was like, look, I was, the way that Orin met Arden, I was that. I mean, he's like, just, dealing with some, shady but not like illegal stuff, and then through the black market, he got in touch with him, and I mean, yeah, maybe this could be wrong. Arden's like running around, but Arden did offer us to go speak. I mean, like, why not? Maybe like maybe the best bet and
You saying
only
this out
bet we
loud
have.
to Velik?
Yeah, to everyone. I'm just like talking out loud, saying maybe we now go and try to set up a meeting with. I mean, I don't think he's going to meet with the entire party. Like he knows he's not stupid, and we're all going to jump him. But like if one or two of us go
I
talk,
think that's
you know,
wise.
he,
I think
I
that would be a
mean,
bad idea, Velik
Of course, that
says.
would be a trap.
You would be at his mercy if you follow him anywhere. Although
well, I would have
I
to
can't
mellow. I mean,
argue
we could.
the information you might gain might be useful, but
Would we
yeah.
be able to send an illusory or a copy or homunculus or I
He's
don't know
quite
some.
powerful. He could probably see through it. It would have to
Oh, no,
be at
no,
least
I'm
one or
not
two of
saying
us.
that we would disguise it. I'm saying we would send it to talk with him because he said he wanted to tell us stuff, but then we wouldn't be there physically, and that puts us on more even footing for such a parlay.
Well,
Who?
If it's a parlay.
To
What
the
if?
Shadow Lord?
yeah, to go speak with
mean,
the Shadow Lord, I assume. Velik says, I
and or
don't know what would be gained by that. I mean, I don't think any. Well, I hope none of you would agree with the things he wishes to do.
The thing
obviously he's
is
done
that
horrible stuff.
we both have the same goal, but he is going about it at a different way. But that's the. Look, I mean, I don't need to, tell you guys. Obviously, talking is my favorite weapon. But in any negotiation or anything where you're trying to get two sides to see eye to eye, that is the first thing, is to find some commonality. And the thing is, we do. At the very end of the day, the grand goal that we both have is to stop the cataclysm. He's just going about it in a really fucked up way. But the thing is, he thinks that's the only way. Maybe if he was presented with a realistic other way, I mean, who knows? I mean, I can't realistically say he'd probably change, but I mean, the possibility might be worth looking into.
He says, so Velik thinks for a moment and says, there is more to Shadow Lord Gaivok than just stopping the cataclysm. He says, I don't know how
I
much
fear
you
what he'll
know
make
about...
of the world if he.
Well, I don't know
Let's
how much you
give him-
know about him or the others who follow the Red Wizard, but there's a lot of they've done a lot of bad things over the years, caused a lot of death. It's
Oh, that no doubt, no doubt.
he says I don't think. I mean, even if you could convince them to, I don't know, I guess give up their plans to create these shadow crystals, in the end, I think whatever other goals they're pursuing would just lead to more death and destruction.
Well,
He says,
listen, I mean,
Or go ahead.
yes, but like, I mean, to be honest, we don't know what their other goals are at this moment. A conversation with them could help illuminate, but not maybe they wouldn't tell us outright, but could perhaps illuminate what their philosophy and what they're leaning towards.
So,
I have a question.
as you are talking, there is a knock at the door, and the door would open, and Yali would step in. She says, "I heard you were having a meeting. I thought maybe I should attend it as well. Is this acceptable, or should I let you all speak in private?"
I look at
I think
Uslag.
that's definitely acceptable. Curious.
Velik will
Yali.
immediately, like, kind of his eyes widen a bit, and he just goes a little bit quiet, like turns away from her.
Yali, the Shadow Lord is one of the Raven Queen's sworn enemies, correct?
Says, yes, the he puppeteers necrotic and void energies, causing death and destruction wherever he walks. He
And
has
he-
been a foe to the goddess for as long as she, well, for as long as he decided, for as long as it's been since he decided to take on the powers granted to him by Serator.
I mean, look, we're all here with our we are all enemies of the Shadow Lords here. I mean, obviously even the Raven Queen is against him. I could say, Surtur is definitely not a big fan of him. So, obviously we could put our braids. We're all in this
Wait,
together.
why doesn't Surtur like him? He fucking kills people.
Well, yeah, but the problem is, well, I mean, Surtur doesn't like him because, I mean, he wants to go stop the Cataclysm, and obviously,
Yali would
that's
look over curiously and say, Surtur, the fire giant god of destruction, why do you bring
Yeah.
him up in this conversation?
That was
I'm,
in
I'm
that
his
cackle was
avatar.
in character.
Oh, I'm his avatar. I very just nonplussedly say.
She considers you a moment.
Roll
She
for
says-
initiative.
She says, why? Why would you serve a being like him?
I would say serve. I don't go out and and go and pray to him 3 times a day, exuding my devotion to him. But I mean, like I said, I have the philosophy that there, in this fight against the Shadow Lord, sometimes we, certain actions need to be taken. It's a thin line, but certain actions need to be taken, and with potentially common foes against other foes. And as it happens, I did kill his previous avatar, and I believe me and Surtur, we might have our differences, but we can work together to accomplish certain things.
Give me a
Short answer is he's dumb and he wants power.
Give me a persuasion check.
Glenn, you're so good with words.
He smiles and he fans himself with his hand. Oh, thank you.
Malin, give me a 12.
Yeah.
So she she looks over at Glenn for a moment, looks back at you, and give me initiative rolls.
What you doing?
Hold on. Wait.
Drea stands back and watches the action.
You
Oh
would
my
see
God.
darkness starting to swirl around Yali, like almost like this
Where are we
cloud
standing?
just. All right, where are you right now? So I'll say, because I don't think this place really has a
I need a-
meeting room.
A token. to
Oh, I
roll.
gotta get my sheet out. Oh no.
All right, we'll say maybe in the forge, just because there's some tables in here. Down
In
down
where?
I
here.
was not expecting this. Okay.
I thought we were
Well,
going
I wasn't
combat today.
expecting
I was so
him
expecting it.
to say, "Oh
Well,
yeah,
that's
no,
right.
I serve the destruction god."
I
of the
kind of just
fire
thought she'd be
giants."
like, oh.
All right,
Didn't realize that.
so we'll
beef.
say
Okay,
you guys
where's my-
are like at the table here. Maybe, yeah. I'm not gonna put Eli on the board. Varric.
Found it.
It's kind of over here, and Yali was coming through the door over here.
That's what I said. So I said roll for initiative as soon as Val said that. I'm like, dude, she's not gonna like that.
I didn't think she would attack me. No, yeah, I was obviously I couldn't imagine that was gonna happen.
Oh,
Lou, I can't click on my token. I'm wondering if it's because I'm using a different sheet now or what.
oh. I just pulled it from your sheet that was in.
Maybe try pulling her out yourself, Uslog. Maybe that token will work for you. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Oh, have I not even? Yeah, you selected token. Okay.
Is your new token not set up? Is that why?
Maybe not.
Hang on.
I mean, I have it on my I have it on my sheet to use default token. You select the
No,
token.
it's
I
not
mean,
set up. So I can. Does she not have a max HP value? Hang on, what's going on? No,
It's
I don't think you put a max
Yeah.
HP, so I will put that.
New
in
avatar power,
for
guys.
you. There you go. You now have a max HP.
okay. Is that all it was? Wow. That's cool. Yeah, I can move her now.
Well, I'm. Hang on, let me set this up. Okay.
She's going all out on me.
Okay, I gotta.
Sorry, that
remember.
was I was trying to put the flying marker on Slurp, and I accidentally chose the wrong wings. So that's.
Do you have night vision, Uslog?
I have the night vision goggles. Yeah, so I
60
should
feet. All
have
right.
the 60 feet. Yeah.
So that's nocturnal. All right. So go ahead and try to pull your token out now.
Oh, have we rested?
Oh.
I'm
Yep.
damaged. Okay,
No, we had a full rest.
that's what I thought.
Okay.
I thought we were partying here
actually,
with the
did
tribe,
we?
weren't we?
I think
Didn't
it's
we
the
hang
same
out with the
night.
tribe and drink with them and stuff after we told them
Oh,
we were going
maybe.
home?
Yeah, maybe it's
No,
the
no, after
morning.
no, because we went after the fight. We went and slept it off, and then the next morning we got up.
Yeah, I
and-
think you're right. Yeah. So I
Okay.
think everyone
For
should
sure,
be
yeah.
fully rested.
We needed a rest very badly.
The long rest button is not working on my sheet. It's not resetting my HP.
Oh, I gotta reroll initiative.
Oh, there it worked. I only needed to click it 7 times. We're good now.
All right. Is everyone on there?
Glenn.
Was that? Sorry.
Hey, you have to
Roll an
Oh,
initiative.
initiative? Yeah. I was just waiting. All right. Is there initiative? Excuse me. Is there initiative 33?
0.16.
Okay.
No, the fucking the angel. Initiative's 33. What's her bonus?
All right. So she kind of stands there for a moment as this darkness swirls around her. The guy here, Varric, just kind of is like, oh, and he gets down on the floor, and she points her hand at Malik, or Malin. I need a con save, DC 22.
Jeez. All right.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get that.
So the darkness swirls around you, and you feel yourself become paralyzed. She says, as you say, Glenn, or actually, she wouldn't sound angry, but she would say, as you say, Glenn, people like him only seek power. He says, Surtur's servants must be extinguished.
What the hell?
And you would feel yourself, kind of tense up as this darkness swirls around you, and she starts concentrating.
If I may, I'm not going to stop you or anything. I kind of understand how you feel about this one and some of his choices, but he's been pretty valuable in our fight against the Shadow Lords, and while I don't think his decisions are particularly wise, perhaps complete extermination isn't necessary fully yet.
So I guess you do like a quick 6-second version of that. Give me a persuasion check.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Probably
So
to
everyone,
appeal.
I guess, is like getting up,
Make
like,
an
whoa,
appeal.
whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Suddenly magic is flying through the air. All right, so that's what you
I
say.
probably would not. I would not have thought to put up emboldening bond. Sorry, this happened too quickly.
Yeah.
So,
I assume Slurp is just kind of chilling.
oh, he's hanging out invisible. Yeah.
He
I just didn't know where the.
He charges Yali. All right, Glenn, what are you
Fine,
gonna
sir.
do / say?
Glenn will move up closer to her.
She just kind of stares at you, unblinking.
And say, look. Hopefully know me to be somebody of impeccable character when it comes to fighting against the Shadow Lord. We need Malin, though. If he ever turns, I'll take the burden. Trust me to be the one to strike him down if he ever turns against us and towards Surtur. I'll take the responsibility.
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh my god.
Goodness.
I don't know why I thought that.
Estrella.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
Okay,
done
that's-
anything more than like.
So you
speaking out.
got up and you said your piece.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even like I didn't even really like move or get up or anything. I was
You're
just kind
still
of like,
just sitting there. You're like,
reconsider. Yeah, that was kind of the attitude of that's all.
yeah.
tone.
Varric's like under the table, like, holy shit, the goddess avatar is fucking throwing magic. All right, Uslog, what are you doing?
She would also step up to Yali and give a, I guess, kind of like take a knee, perhaps, and just say, "Please spare him. He's misguided, but he's our friend, and he's
So
been with us through all of this against the Shadow Lord."
give me a
And
persuasion.
if yeah, and I'm with Glenn. If we must, I would prefer us to be the ones to strike him down.
Give me a persuasion with
uh,
advantage.
Ooh.
She looks actually a bit taken aback as she sees you kneel before her.
Okay.
Almost
Just
like
seemed like the right thing to do. Okay. Let's see, advantage.
Hey!
We really mean what we say,
I
guys.
love you guys.
So she,
Nothing but hearts.
she looks at Glenn and she looks at you. She says, "Child, you should not kneel before me.
Why?
Surtur has done many terrible things against the subjects of the Raven Queen and the other peoples of Gaian and the world. He has brought about great destruction, chaos, death. To have one who claims to be one of his avatars walk in your ranks, there's just a lot of danger to this decision. And we can say we're out of rounds now because you guys rolled enough for her to not continue trying to melt Malin inside that paralysis cage. Malin, I'll say if you're trying to resist, give me another con save.
I mean, she's still concentrating.
Yeah, she's
when you
holding
first said
you.
paralysis,
Oh,
I was
okay.
I thought you were like turning into a statue.
You feel like the energies around you are slightly draining you, but you would guess she's holding them at bay for the time being. Because the energy is swirling there, and you could feel its effects, but it's not actually damaging you yet. So, how would you respond to what she said, the two of you?
I mean, if I'm still being restrained, what the hell? I'm just like, I'm really pissed.
I'd be like, shush.
Stop fussing, you. Just wait. Don't make it work.
I'm actually, Malin's actually angry.
Oh. The power he wields I guess he's just been protected so far by Surtur, but maybe wields powers. Anyway, they may be from Surtur, but he's used them in the cause that the Raven Queen would approve of, at least.
And he acquired the powers in kind of rather a little bit of a ruse, for he slayed the previous avatar.
You, Malin, you hear a voice in your head say, Raven Queen. Kind of sigh. Say, well, at least your friends are trying to get you out of it. I would have told you might want to stay quiet about serving me if you had asked.
I say to him, I'm not ashamed.
Such a boring goddess, death. Who cares? What good are what good are beings after they're dead? There's no more joy to be gained from their suffering.
Well, I'm not ashamed to be your avatar. I say to him.
People, I appreciate that, but yeah, this is the normal reaction you're going to get, especially from those with power. All right, so back to the other conversation. She would say, if he so easily turns or would turn against his own deity's wishes, he could just as easily turn against yours. Accepting power from such a source speaks to his character, Uslag. He is not to be trusted.
And I know it's a slippery slope. I have been worried about the same thing myself, and I've had that conversation with him, and I have made kind of a silent vow to myself that if he ever strayed, I would be the one to end him. So, put that responsibility on me and Uslag, and we'll be responsible for his dumbass.
Give me another persuasion check.
Oh.
And she looks to you and says, do you really think with the backing of a lesser god you could slay him with that much power?
Yes, he might be strong, but he whispers, he's dumb.
She says, you play a dangerous game, Glenn. What's your last name?
Whisperwind.
I knew it was Whisperwind. She says, you play a dangerous game, Glenn Whisperwind.
I know. It's the only game I know how to play.
She says, for all your sakes, I hope you are correct about him. And she'll kind of wave her hand at this point, and the swirling stops as Malin, you feel yourself able to move again.
All right, time for me to pop off. No, I drop down
Or go
like
ahead.
you. I stare at you like you. How dare you? I have gone and given my life, my body, to fight your enemies. You're a complete hypocrite. You would think Surtur has voiced his disdain of you and your goddess? Do I go out and say, oh, let me eliminate my enemies? I just go and sit here of my own volition. But no, you decide all of a sudden that you need to go and inflict violence and cause death just at a whim. And you call me the destructive one. How dare you? You're nothing but a hypocrite. And I just, I pound the table as I say that, and I just storm out, like absolutely furious.
All
Like
right,
I literally storm out.
like you
and
storm
as I'm
out the
storming
back
out,
door here.
and I go to Surtur and say, I can't believe it. I was like, you were right. I can't believe it. And I just keep walking.
She would so as you would leave so you wouldn't hear any of this.
Yeah,
but
I
she
wouldn't
would
hear
kind of sigh a little bit and say, perhaps I was a bit hasty in the attack. Ah well, what is done is done.
Everything's so black and white. There's gray areas. I have a feeling that is something that
She says, do you it's harder to explain to a mortal, but when you've seen as much as my kind has, and have seen all the death and destruction brought about by those of evil, it becomes much harder for you to restrain yourself when dealing with them. He says, paladins and holy men feel a bit of it when we grant religious zeal through their actions, and they are able to summon righteousness to inflict massive damage, or massive harm, but it also becomes harder for you to be tempered in your response to evil. And make no mistake, the god he is serving is evil, and it will influence him, regardless of what he wants. I've seen it so many times over the years. Mortals think they can control the power, and it always ends the same.
Zatian, do they have a better chance?
Maybe. Hopefully. And with that, she smiles and says, I'm sorry, Uslag. Perhaps I shouldn't have disturbed your meeting. I'll let you go and finish, and perhaps you can bring Malin back in. And maybe you two can temper whatever influence Surtur has on him. We can only hope.
so.
And she'll just kind of walk out. Walk down the hall. Velik is like, was that Yali?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're totally
Yeah,
on a first name basis.
Yeah, remember when
Oh, you
we
don't know
said
her?
that we thought,
You haven't met her? She's okay.
Yeah, she's cool. She's
She's
cool.
lovely.
She's cool.
remember when we said that the sanctuary here is fairly well taken care of by the Celestials? Yeah.
I didn't
This
know
looks
that
so stressed right now.
the Walker of the Veil
Jesus.
came here. I
Estrella's like really chill through all of this drama. Like even though she did step in a little bit, she's actually just kind of refilling her wine glass.
well, I
and
mean,
sipping
she's
and
still
listening.
sitting there as like magic was being hurled across the room, and there was like yelling.
Right.
She's just like drinking her tea, like
Well, she wasn't. Well, when Malin said, like, straight up said that he was an avatar of Surtur, I was like, this is not gonna go well. She was
She
expecting it. I
pulled
was
out the
expecting it.
popcorn.
I
She's
thought
like,
they would be like just neutral
No,
on
not
because they're
so
so
much,
different
not
from.
so much like she's enjoying it, but more like that she's like, she's
Yeah,
not
actually,
getting.
Uslag,
excited
that reaction from her may have surprised you a bit.
Yeah, I was like, they seem like they're in completely different spheres of influence. I mean, that's the thing with gods, right? They've got spheres. I
Yeah.
don't think they would have anything to do with each
you-
other.
You've been called the avatar of the Raven Queen of late, and that is Yali's title, is it not? Perhaps you have elevated yourself nearer to her level in some way, or even perhaps at her level. I don't know how these politics work.
Me neither. She's so stressed. She's just like losing it.
Velik Velik would say, Should we go get Malin or?
Would he have been surprised if, did we just reveal that Uslag is an avatar and he didn't know that before? Oops.
Yeah, I guess you did just kind of say that too.
I just could have realized
Yeah, I don't know how much they would be able to tell.
I'll
from
say
this, like, her
he hasn't really
markings.
commented on that. He might still be a little awestruck that Yali walked in. Because everyone knows, well, it seems like a lot of the Shadow Elves know of Yali. Especially being that most of them were raised in a theocracy. Alright, well anyway, what do you want to do?
Let's see if we can get Glenn back. Does someone want to go fetch him, or should
You mean Malin?
I have a
Well,
feeling probably doesn't want to see me right now, but
I'll go get Malin.
probably for the best.
Alright,
Just like
so
this.
as he's
At
going
the
over,
table
I
and
want to
puts her
have
head down.
I want to have a small conversation with Surtur.
Alright, so I'll cut back to you once you get into the room. I assume like slamming the door and just really pissed off.
Yeah, I was like, unbelievable. You know, it is actually stunning. They go and they say that you're the one, like, that you cause just wanton destruction, wanton, random chaotic evil, and then the great stoic Raven Queen, as she has so pretended, it's like nothing, means nothing to her.
She's quite a boring goddess. I wouldn't get too worked up. Her and her people are usually more centered. I was kind of surprised that one of them might have some fire. In any case, your friends talked her out of whatever she was going to do.
Surtur, the fire god, really trying to ask me to temper my temper.
He
That's a
says,
new
"Look,
one.
you're very powerful. You're not going to be able to fight Yali. I mean, I'm not saying that to be like mean or degrading. It's just she is almost on the level of a god. So it's probably best
Certainly when
that,
she decides to jump me.
yeah, well,
Certainly
I mean,
not.
that definitely wouldn't have helped your chances." He says, "Yeah, there are other ways you can get back at him. I mean, I'm all for like wanton destruction most of the time, but if I lost you as a follower, then it wouldn't really serve my overall interests. So, at least for now, I don't think you should react to it too much."
I appreciate that.
Says,
After everything that I've done, like, for this team, for this group, everything that I go and do, heck, I even went into league with you to go and try to help this group. And this is what happens? I understand that, whatever, Glenn goes and tries to, like, always talk up Uslag and whatever every time, and we win, even though I pull just as much weight. But, like, but to have that done to me is outrageous, but I do appreciate it.
Says, "Of course, I know we have our disagreements, and you're very much a pain in my ass sometimes, but overall you have somewhat furthered my goals." And about then you would hear knocking at the door.
Psycho. Oh, what?
He takes that as he opens the door.
Alright, so you see Glenn walk in.
Yes, Glenn. I mean, it makes sense to have the one that's best with his words to come talk.
Mm-hmm.
Are you huffing? What's going on?
Am I huffing? Excuse me. Next time, after some deity goes and decides that you are supposedly working with decides to paralyze you and threaten your life, I'd like to see how you react. Oh wait, how many times have you gone running in the middle of combat?
Idiot, what do you expect after what you told her?
And I don't go for a goddess who goes and claims, oh, she's all about order and doing the right thing. She decides to go and just jump. We could have had an absolutely civilized conversation and talked it out, but she decided to be chaotic and jump me. An ally who's gone out of his way to prove himself over and over again. Yep, in his fight.
The Raven Queen's a chaotic goddess.
I can see that.
Do you have religion, Glenn?
No, but I mean, just based off of like everything I've seen, I think it should be pretty easy to.
Well,
assume
no,
that she's clearly-
because not saying you wouldn't think that, but she isn't actually chaotic.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought she was order.
She's not order. She's sort of like lawful neutral. She's definitely not good. She's more of like preserving the almost like a druidic type, preserving the balance. She might be true neutral, actually. I'm gonna look it up. But anyway, continue.
Elizabeth doesn't know.
Oh, we both have our misconception for her. So,
Yeah,
but anyways,
neither of you have religion, so you're like, she's a goody goody, and he's like, well, she's chaotic. Yeah, she's lawful neutral. That's what I thought.
Anyways,
I mean, you claim to be in front of her the avatar of an evil god. You don't expect somebody of a celestial origin to have a negative response.
yes, but to negative response, I've absolutely gotten that from what I do, and like who I've decided to work with. I don't go and decide to jump people, and try to kill them when I run into a disagreement. And again, it's not like I just met her.
Melon, she didn't want to kill you. If she wanted to kill you, you'd be dead. There wasn't anything me or Uslag or anybody else could do to stop it, I feel.
No, she did, but fortunately, because and I do appreciate you two stepping in for me to go and save my butt. But it was only because of you two that I lived to tell the tale.
Perhaps. But she also admitted that she acted a bit too hasty, but honestly, her reaction should be a wake-up call. Someone like her who's seen cycles and cycles and has seen avatars assert her come and go, and has seen this exact scenario play out time and time again, some mortal thinking that they can get the best of Surtur, or they think that they can control it, and yet always end up falling prey to the power. That should worry you. You shouldn't be mad about it.
If someone who seems so wise and collected displayed complete hypocrisy, sad enough, Surtur did warn me about this and about the followers of the Rain Queen, and guess what? I actually went to bat. I said he was wrong. It was absolutely nothing but respectful, utmost respectful to them. And my nature. I show nothing but respect to fellow deities' followers, and this is what I got. Doesn't that show you that, in fact, for all their boisterous claims, their proud divinity, that they're just as hypocritical as the rest of us?
The divine don't have the sense of respect or common sense that we do. That's why they're divine. They have their own sensibilities that we can't understand.
Perhaps that sensibility is a huge blind spot. They're not as perfect as they think they are.
Is that what's got your panties in a bunch? You felt like you were disrespected?
Disrespected is one thing. You disrespect me every single day, and obviously, that's one thing. But to threaten my life as such, in the middle of a civil conversation, I find that, especially after everything I have done, and is absolutely outrageous.
It's everything you've done, but the worry is what you're going to do.
So it's never enough. You're saying I can't, no matter what I do. I can't. I will never. It will never be enough. Is that what you're saying then?
I mean, Malin, if you go to a school of kids and you help them out every day reading and, coloring, and you're awesome, but you've got a giant machete covered in blood, no matter how long, the kids are still going to be scared. That's what you are. You're holding a giant fucking bloody machete. Yeah, with
Understood.
starter there. I mean,
No, that's fair.
it's never
And
going
who
to
is
be enough.
she? And who is she? Oh, she's just the herald of death. I don't go out and stare her down and sneer her because of how many of the dead souls that she takes care of. I don't do that either.
I don't know what that has to do with anything. Like, you're comparing yourself to the duties of the divinity. That makes no sense.
I'm comparing. I'm not. I'm comparing myself with the duties and whatnot. I'm comparing about the hypocrisy. The hypocrisy is absolutely astounding.
Hypocrisy of what? You just like saying that, but you're not really saying anything at all.
No, that I go and get, blamed. Oh, you're in league with Surtur. Oh my God, I'm gonna go turn evil on you guys, and at any moment I could snap, and I'm gonna put everyone in danger. But it turns out the entire time I'm the only one who's been putting myself in danger for you all, nonstop. And then the one time we have a discussion, turns out I'm not the one who snapped. It was Deity of the Raven Queen, and then I was almost killed. That is, how am I supposed to feel about that?
We've all been putting ourselves at danger. You're not the
And I
only
acknowledge
one.
that. I acknowledge that. But only I'm getting the scrutiny because even though I'm trying my absolute hardest.
Because you're the only one crazy enough to take power from an evil aligned god.
Oh yeah, but taking one from the Raven Queen, then that's a pass though.
Who's taking power from her except from Uslan?
We're working with them.
Okay, we're not taking. Last I checked, I haven't gotten any sweet powers from the Raven Queen, nor has Estrella or Eli. Most of us don't have are serving a god
Well, I don't have any qualms with you.
So real
Sure.
quick, you guys are talking, but I want to shift the camera back to the other room. Is anything happening in here? Like, are you guys just kind of sitting around waiting?
I guess we would probably be like small talking to some extent about like what happened, or not small talking, but like it could be a bit of a somber conversation because of what just happened. But I think we
Yeah.
are hoping to wait, or at least I'm imagining that Estrella would expect that we're waiting for
So,
Glenn
Yeah,
and
Uslag would definitely
Malin to come
be-
back before we actually like continue planning.
do you want to RP some of that small talk, like, or should I just say we'll
I mean,
skip back?
summarize a little bit. Like,
Okay.
Uslag would definitely be talking with Estrella about her concerns from Alan, and just
Yes, I mean, we all
that
knew
it was
that
her. It
Malin-
was like her deity that
Yeah.
harmed her friend, and
Well,
Yeah.
can you blame her though? I mean, yes, perhaps she was quick to anger and did not consider it holy until we asked her to, but I still can't blame her reaction. I mean, Malin is literally playing with fire, and it concerns us all and has from the beginning. And her words are quite poignant about, she's seen other mortals claim that they can control it. Exactly as Malin has been saying, and as we've all been furrowing our brows and wondering about as he says it. And here, in the midst of her sanctuary, someone she thought was an ally is casually throwing out there that he's an avatar. I believe it was quite a shock to her. I'm not saying it couldn't have gone down better. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think it went as well as it could have, but it shouldn't have happened at all. Like, I feel like it's my fault.
Oh, don't think that at all. I'm not sure that we could have predicted that Malin would have been so casual about announcing that in this place to that audience.
Velik would say, "Why do you think it's your fault, Uslog?"
I'm the avatar of the Raven Queen. I didn't choose it. I died and woke up, and this is what I was. But
Felix says,
I
"Yeah,
feel like
I was meaning to
didn't
ask
think
you
about
about
how
that."
that affected.
Says, "Are you actually have been embraced by the Raven Queen?"
She'll gesture to her new marks. Yeah.
And he looks closer now at him, and his eyes kind of widen a bit. He's like, "Oh, wow. Um, well,
Stand it fully yet. I
I
resisted
mean,
it for a long time.
So
he
far, the
seems
biggest power we've seen from the transformation is that the church people are in all of Uslog and sometimes listen to us briefly, more swiftly than they used to.
Which could be a good
almost
thing for
as if saying the church kind of snaps him back from his like hero worship of Uslag. Now he says, the church. They don't actually care about the will of the Raven Queen. He says that's
I
one of
kind
the.
of get that sense. It's a
It's
construct.
politics.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all happy to invoke her when trying to get things done, but I mean, anyway, I'm sorry, I shouldn't speak against the church in your presence, Uslog.
Oh, I've never been one for churches or any sort of institution, so you speak freely.
This
It's
as well.
fine.
I actually will say I was a bit surprised by Yali's reaction. I mean, obviously I've never met her before, but from what I know of her, from from the teachings of the church in my younger days, she has always been more of a stoic figure. I wouldn't expect her to suddenly strike out against someone like that. I mean, I guess she didn't hurt him or kill him, but just seemed very impulsive.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was normal myself, and now I feel like there's more we need to know on that.
Because maybe, a lot of those who serve the gods often start out as mortals. So many are celestials, but some are born of mortal blood and are chosen to ascend, like yourself. Alright, so I'll cut back to the other room for a moment. Sorry, go ahead. You guys can continue if you want.
Where were we?
No.
He had, I believe he had just said, like, you're not making any sense. Because you said,
Well, I like, okay, so I mean, yeah, my point was, like, I'm not outraged at, obviously, you guys and, like, the party. I have, like, zero problem with it. I'm just, like, outraged by her actions and what she did.
I understand that, but like, don't let this be a reason for you to slink back in and like, glaze Surtur more than you already do.
Did you say glaze?
Yeah.
This entire time, I've done nothing but the opposite. And
Except when you wanted to burn down the whole city.
That if I truly wanted to burn down the entire city and was completely blinded by, my lust for power, I would have gone and done so without gathering a group and having a discussion, and being frustrated, but completely accepting your judgment.
I know,
I'm not saying I would have succeeded. I'm not saying I would have succeeded or not. That is not my point here. I have shown nothing but the utmost restraint for against Surtur this entire time. I have done everything.
And I'm sure every other mortal has, up until the point where they don't. You have to understand it's a slippery slope. I mean, how long do you think you can withstand his influence? Forever? Do you think you're special? I mean, let's be honest, Malin. I feel like you have a superhero complex. That's why you're always running off to try and fight. Let's fight the dragon when we don't need to. Let's fight this when we don't need to. Let's fight the big bad when we don't need to. And now you think
this way. What choice? I was literally, look at me. I can't, I'm not like you who can go and be a normal mortal and have a normal life. I am literally covered in metal, built for war. I don't have a choice in this matter. Obviously, I can have some deviations.
I know you're meant to fight, but you're not meant to be a fool. Like, no other mortal has been able to withstand Surtur's influence forever. Like, you're not going to be the special one.
Okay, but but you would not have this reaction if someone's serving the Raven Queen.
I would if the Raven Queen was an evil goddess. The thing,
And
Surtur
she
is
deals with.
evil that cares nothing but destruction. There's no rhyme or reason to it, just destruction for destruction's sake. The Raven Queen at least has some sense of structure.
I'm sure she had a great reason for trying to strike me down, but that
That
still would have
wasn't
cost
the
my
Raven
life.
Queen, that was one of her servants. Let's not
Ooh, act
mix.
out. And well, actually, I don't know if she's
You
because
guys have
that's one of
terrible
her.
religious. Wait, that wasn't the
Yeah, we
Raven
have
Queen? I thought that was her.
I mean, I thought like basically that's almost like the voice of the Raven Queen kind of deal.
I
That's,
mean,
guess, my
avatars
attitude.
are very powerful servants of goddesses, but no, they're not, or of gods, but they're not like the god themselves.
I mean,
Yeah, no,
she's
no,
just
she's
as much
not.
of a representative of the Raven Queen as you are of Surtur. The things that you say and do don't represent Surtur 100%, they represent you.
Then
I
I will
mean-
show more restraint than she has ever, and not fight back.
Well, that's fine.
How's that?
That's fine, but I'm just saying this isn't. You're putting the Raven Queen herself on trial, and I don't think that's fair for the actions of one person. And the thing is, I mean, we're all worried about this deal with Surtur. We'd all rather you not do what you're doing, but we also know that we can't stop you. And I mean, we tolerate it because we need you, but we're all worried and scared that the worst is going to happen and that we're going to have to be the ones to kill a friend. I mean, have you thought about that? What if that happens? The position you put us into, that we'd have to kill one of our friends?
Yeah, I think about that for a second.
Do you know, like, how that would just completely kill me? I mean, having to strike you down, or Uslog, that would completely traumatize us.
I understand that point, but I guess what for me is the lack of trust that I understand. We all understand who I'm playing with, but everything we've been for how long together, and everything that I have done, everything I do, even this action, is for the sake of the group, and for ultimately a better sake.
We trust
And
you. Let that be enough. I mean, who cares if some peon of the Raven Queen doesn't trust you?
well, it's not about I care. As you can tell, I clearly didn't care about her, what she viewed of me. I just, but I will certainly not be pissed when someone threatens my life. It's only because of our group's relationship with her, and because I'm not a hypocrite, that I decide not to fight back, even though everything, including Surtur, and obviously I'm lying here, but that's out of character. Like everything is telling me, including Surtur, is telling me to fight back.
I would have fought for you. If words didn't work, I was getting ready to try and modify her memory. That was the
I kind of like when he says that. I look at him, I pat him on the shoulder and say, "I appreciate that, Glenn. You are, I do appreciate that."
He knows. Don't ever think we wouldn't fight for you.
I appreciate that.
All right, well, let's stop making out and get back.
I hate you. We head back.
Alright, so a little while later, Glenn and Malin would walk back in. Velik seems a bit surprised, but he would nod and kind of sit back down.
Oh, I see. I'm like, oh, good. She's not here.
I wouldn't have gotten you if she was.
I sit down. I'm like, I'm still
Velik
grumpy, but
says-
obviously I'm not like livid.
Well, that was
as it
was an interesting turn of events. Where was I? Oh, yes. So we are, happy for all the help we're appreciative for all the help you provided us. The only other thing I was going to mention is that the Midnight Pyre has quite the extensive network of powerful people, and if you are looking to maybe bring in some more, we could probably find them for you for a small fee, of course. He says if you're looking for more specialists. But other than that, I mean, we're just going to continue information gathering for our from our agents and continue to work against the Children of Shadow. We realize that you probably have things that you need to do back on your home world, so we will be fine whether you decide to help us or go back to what you need to do. We will do our best.
I say, well, back to my point that we were discussing before. I do a slight pause. Back to my point was that perhaps we should arrange to have another conversation through the black market with Arden.
Question. So, Orin was a rather high-profile, possibly valuable, asset or target or acquisition for the children or for Relic, because he not only came from a powerful family with lots of resources, but he himself had some pretty unique magic at his disposal. Perhaps we could somehow make some other target somehow, I don't know, dangle another maybe valuable asset looking for things on the market that could possibly attract. I'm thinking out loud. I know there's some details to be worked out. I'm just wondering if, any old person, or even us, if he knows we're looking for him, looking, or our allies, asking around, he may not show his head. But then if there's something to tempt him or something that he might think interesting or valuable, I don't know. Just a thought.
I'd like to argue the inverse, as if anything, he'd probably be quite motivated to try to head to ground, and he has suffered a serious loss, and we would know that we're on his tail, and aside from a fully charged shadow crystal, I don't know what could possibly. I don't know what. I legitimately don't know what could tempt him.
Well,
if we
go ahead.
Yeah, let me finish. But multiple instances. First, when we spoke in the, I forgot what. Not the ether. The hollow. When we spoke in the hollow, Arden has shown a willingness to speak, and again, he showed a willingness to speak, but under the gun of releasing Tarask. But again, if we were just very, wish to converse with him, that would perhaps. Sorry.
I got the impression he was buying time there when we first arrived in that cavern, and he was working on that force field. Like, I thought that was why he chose to appear willing to speak, but I could have been mistaken.
Oh, certainly. I don't think you're wrong, but I don't think his offer to to actually talk with Gaivok or himself was wrong either, was a lie either. I believe both things could have been true.
I don't doubt that he would love to lead us into the lion's den and have us at his control, and even try to convert us to ally with him somehow. He knows that we are formidable to some extent, since we have clearly survived encounters with him more than once. But I don't think that we would necessarily be at any advantage or benefit to such a meeting unless we come up with some strategy that we've not yet spoken of on how we would go into that meeting, or I'm not sure.
Character. Stupid question.
Yeah.
Do I know enough about Shadow Lord Gaivok to cast Sending on him?
Did you ever meet Gaivok?
I don't believe so. I joined as a translator for the Ice Giants. I don't think we've run into Gaivok since then.
No, yeah.
Or have we?
Well, I think this group defeated Gaivok before you joined, right?
You could do it
Yeah.
on Arden. Like, you bet Arden, though. You can.
Yeah, definitely Arden would be the.
Yeah, you can definitely send
Yeah,
cast
you've
Sending.
definitely bumped into Relic a few times. I don't think you bumped into Gaivok ever, because he was
Okay.
kind of he was
Uslog,
defeated
yeah.
before you joined. Only Uslog has met Gaivok.
Well, that's why, like, because what's the requirement for sending? I mean, you need to know of the person. I mean,
Is
Shadow
that all
Lord
it
Gaivok.
says?
Well, let me see. 'Cause I'm not.
Does it change the chances of the message going through?
Right, like if Uslug was able
if it
to
is, if it does say
describe
just
him.
know of them, that would be more of an argument for it.
Let me.
I assumed you'd have to have met the
Okay.
person. Does it say
that's why I'm
something
not 100%
ambiguous like
sure.
familiar? Here, let me check the new 2024
I'm not even sure if
sending.
Uslug could describe him, because when she first met him, he was inhabiting Galen Blackwater, and the second time we met him, he was inhabiting.
Oh, there's Malik, yeah, Malik and with Blackwater.
Oh,
and
Malik.
then-
Sorry.
And then
Sorry.
Xeris.
So Gaivok was
yeah.
inhabiting Xeris, yeah, and then
Yeah, but wasn't were you with them when they first freed him?
who?
Yeah,
Uslog?
Uslog has definitely had a conversation with Gaivok. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Carter
yeah.
just says a creature with which you are familiar. I mean, I'm familiar with Shadow Lord Gaivok. I mean, there's only one of them, but it's.
So in the newer version, it says to a creature you have met or a creature described to you by someone who has met it.
Oh, well, I have definitely met Gaivok.
So I guess Uslug could describe Gaivok to you, and that would let you do it with Gaivok.
He kind of looks.
Which I'm
over
glad
to-
they kind of made that more.
Yeah, that's
Clarified.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the 2014 is very ambiguous. He kind of looks over to Uslug. Hey, I don't think I've ever asked you. What's Gaivok like? Can you describe him?
What's he
Merrick
like?
gives you an odd look.
Well.
or Velik gives you an odd look. He's like, what's going on? Huh?
Well, when we met him under Char, it was under Char, right? He was
No, it was under the Hobgoblin.
right. Oh yeah, under the cave, in the caves. Yeah.
Still in
Um,
Char, yeah.
In the halls of Tarsus, right?
Nope.
No.
Halls of Tarsus are below.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting all my maps
Yeah, the
mixed up.
halls of
Okay.
Tarsus is a different
Anyway,
place.
I don't know if we know the
when we
names
met him,
for the ruins where we find out. I don't know if we know the names. They were some old dwarven ruins in the mountains. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
It was near the Alcavian labs. Which I don't know if this
Right, we
group
had
ever
that
even
name, yeah.
found those.
We did,
Oh, okay.
but I don't think we explored them fully. Anyway, yeah, he was bound in some runic circle, and he was just a shadowy being. And she would describe this like, well, what we saw,
He
which
was
was
a-
5 years,
yeah.
4 years ago. So,
Shadowy
can't really remember.
figure who
Yeah.
was kind of stuck in this almost force field type enclosure. Like just magic seemed to bind him into this area.
hmm Yeah,
So she gives you a bit
a little
of a
hard to
description.
describe a shadow, but you know that void energy that we come across.
There were a few
like he's
features to the shadow, unlike
made of that.
normal undead shadows that are just like darkened, like just basically living darkness. Like you could almost see like the structure of a humanoid within the darkness. So
Yeah.
you give him a couple of details that you remember.
Yeah. So when he's not wearing the face of some noble or unfortunate adventurer, then that's what he looks like.
Guys, thank you for that, Uslog. He smiles, and then looks at everyone else. Okay, guys, I'm gonna do something stupid, but just just let me cook. Just let me give me the benefit of the doubt here. And he's gonna lean back in his chair, so he's like, so the chairs, and he like puts his foot up on the feet up on the table, so he's like, leaning back on the two legs, and he like weaves his hands in a sign, and he starts casting sending, the target being Shadowlord Gaiva.
I raised the
Okay.
eye like, oh, this should be
Uslag-
good.
And
We don't know that though.
no, I
Okay,
wouldn't,
good,
I don't
'cause
think you know who
Suslag
this
would be
being
very
target
worried.
is to, but like you see me casting a spell, and I assume that like I've always assumed that like sending is like you're saying out loud, so I'll probably know I'm casting sending.
Okay.
We've seen you cast it before, so.
Yeah, I say,
Okay.
would you meet? This is Glenn of the Splitlanders. Would you meet with us on neutral ground? White flag.
I raised an eyebrow. I'm like, oh. Well.
Ben, are you crazy?
And it's just kind of like waiting for somebody to ask, like who I sent the sending to.
I mean,
yeah,
I'm good
so-
enough just assume that we assume it's either Relic or
There's no response at first. Then you start to feel what you think is some kind of presence, kind of poking at the edges of your mind.
Oh, shit.
Give me a wisdom
Oh
save.
God. This is why.
Invited-
This
you
is why
invited
Uslag
him
told
in.
you you were crazy. You want him whispering in your head. She's continuing to like
What are you doing?
berate
Oh
you at
my
the moment.
God.
Like you hear that just like fade away in the background.
Ooh. I don't know to flash a genius you about that, so otherwise I would.
So you would hear a voice say, well, 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 this is unexpected. As you see in your mind a dark, shadowy figure.
Usleg's like standing up, like yeah, just like.
This is not how the spell usually works, but you feel like something is connecting to you, and he would say, I would be happy to meet and speak with you all, though the last time I attempted to do so, you all drove me into the essence of the Shadowfell by attacking me. He says, I don't exactly have the ability to meet you as a solid entity. And you would know at this point whatever he's doing is not sending anymore. Like he's
Yeah,
actually
okay.
connected to you somehow. He says, there might be another way we could speak.
He deliberately chose not to
Oh,
reply
no.
to the sending so that he could show off like his other magic.
He says,
Yeah.
why do you want to meet with me? Out of curiosity.
I
He
say
says-
that because I assume it's through a telepathic link, so I just respond back telepathically if I can. In the grand scheme of things, we both have the same goal, don't we? To stop the cataclysm.
He says, yes. This is what I've told your group many times, though they never seem to listen to me. He says, I know of you, Glenn, and I know that you follow them now. Have you decided it worth your time to hear me out? Is this why you wish to meet?
Well, I wish to try and convince you that there's another way to stop the cataclysm than the mass sacrifice that you're doing.
Is he okay? Varric says, just looking at,
As long as it's pacing back and forth.
as, Glenn is just kind of staring off into space. He says, okay, so, Gaivok would say, there are other ways to do this, especially for you. being what you are. Those of us not gifted with the connection to the other have less choice in the matter.
Exactly. We have the ability. We've learned that we have the ability to travel to night weather and stop the cataclysm ourselves. This mass, death and turning people into shadow crystals doesn't need to happen.
He says, where would you like to meet and have this discussion, as I feel your friends would want to be able to hear what we say?
I propose a neutral place. How about the Rune Master's Tower? It was Rune Master. What was his name?
He laughs. He says, "Oh, wait, Thovik?
Thovik, yes.
We're
We made
inviting.
Rune Master.
We're inviting.
We're
Mallet-
actually gonna try the. If anything goes wrong, we make him incorporeal
I
again.
thought you were gonna say Xerxes' tower." He says, to do this, I would need a connection to your world once again. He says, I am not currently in a place where I can leave the Shadowfell. He says, could you give me a temporary host to travel with? Perhaps
I want
How long has he been?
perhaps
out of
one
character,
of
I
the
want it so
Zati.
badly. It would be so fucking funny if I
says-
volunteer.
Well, I
It would
can
be so funny.
permanently take control of most. You Zation show quite a bit of resilience, so I can act only as a passenger with one of yours. Let me ride with one of them.
That'd be so funny. I want to do it like just out of character.
Is Glenn acting
Just have-
normal? Has he been? This
I
isn't
mean,
normal
he's
setting.
kinda-
Usog's
he's my
freaking out right
now.
now.
Yeah, you've
Can
never
she
seen a sending spell take this long. He's just kind of
Can
like,
she slap Guy?
What's he
She's
looking
gonna.
at?
Can she slap Glenn and say, "Get out of his head"? I don't know if it's gonna work.
Wait,
She's gonna slap him.
Wait. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna like physically stop. Like, wait.
Alright.
I actually.
She's panicking.
So you are suddenly kind of you feel the connection is still there, but you're shaken. What you thought was like actually didn't seem like that long, but almost like time has passed more than you thought it has as you kind of come to with her like giving you a little slap. Wait, how hard did you slap him? Huh?
Lightly, but it's
Lightly?
Usog.
Alright. So yeah, you feel like poof, and your like face like shifts to the side and you're
Whoa. Like we're fighting over him.
so you're brought forth from this conversation, though you do still feel the connection is there.
Yeah, I'm talking to Guybot.
Oh, you are? Well, what's she saying? What's she saying? I'm like,
Hold on.
Is this wise to invite
Ver-
someone like that into your head, into your mind?
It's not. I've seen it happen.
Varric would stand up and kind of back off, and he says, "Whoa, wait, what? No, you shouldn't be doing this, Guyvok."
Glenn, I've seen him take over a friend. It wasn't my friend anymore. Don't let him do this.
I won't. Don't worry.
I, for one, I agree with Glenn. Just because some evil entity wants to go, be in your mind doesn't mean they're going to take him over.
Give me a
I've seen it happen.
Give me a persuasion check, Glenn. As Varric is freaking out a little. It's like, what the hell? It's like, oh, well, maybe Glenn has things under control. I don't know, Glenn. This seems like a bad idea. But
he closes his eyes, tries to concentrate back on the link, and tries to telepathically say back, okay, if we met in the Shadowfell, though, you wouldn't need to take over somebody's body then.
If I was to speak to all of your people, I would need to inhabit someone, regardless of where I am. I am currently melded with the essence of the Shadowfell because of the defeat I suffered, where I am reforming.
Can't you just inhabit one of your zealots and come meet us somewhere?
He says, if I could do that, don't you think I would have escaped this place? He says, no. I can connect to one of you or someone that you designate using this spell, but I can't just inhabit one of my zealots. If you have another person you want me to inhabit, if you bring them in on this connection, then we can do it that way.
What's he saying? What's he saying, Glenn? I mean, like, Usaka, like, no,
At
don't
that
do it.
point, I
Alright.
could. I don't know if you trust me to give up my control of that host. I offered to do it through the Zation because I couldn't truly control them the way I control a normal person.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
no, if
I
my
might-
people could have just did sending to me and talked to me, I would have escaped this place already.
Interesting. Okay, let me give me a second. He kind of he opens his eyes and he's willing to talk to us. You know, only problem is he needs to inhabit somebody to do so.
Absolutely not. Are you
Uslog shakes her
mad?
head. I'm
Oh.
having flashbacks.
He said,
What?
"So look,
This is a bad
he
idea.
said that if he inhabits his Ation, he can't control us permanently,
And you believe
He's a
him?
liar.
temporary. But
Glenn.
but we can have him inhabit somebody else, and I think we should use this opportunity to see how trustworthy Guyvik, to see if he's a man of his word. One, and to help somebody redeem themselves that's done wrong. I think
What are you talking about?
we should let him take over Orin.
What? He's not
Orin-
Zation.
Wait, you,
No, but Orin is somebody who needs to atone. This could be part of his working his debt off, so to speak.
Okay.
And this
Well,
will
he's
allow us
Zation.
to see if this will allow us to see if Guyvok is a man of his word and
Wait a
releases Orin willingly
wait
at
a
the end.
second. Okay, first off, three things. One, I thought we said Orin was possessed. Two, how is Orin going to continue to work toward restoring his family with Rune and the family members suspended in the mirror if he is possessed by Gavok and traipsing around the Shadowfell? Three, he has a lot of power at his disposal, and which is probably why Relic chose to possess him in the first place. And Guyvok might just love that we chose such a host for him.
Yeah, you should
Well-
listen to her, Glenn. Varric says, or not. That's not Varric. What am I saying? I keep saying Varric. Yeah. He says, when the Shadow Lord gets hold of someone, I mean, they don't let go. I mean, I don't know what this Zation thing is you're talking about, but, you know, if you give him someone, that person is going to be his host. He's not going to give up control. And at that point, they have to die for him to be freed.
I throw up
Isn't
an
there,
arm and say,
isn't
well,
there somebody like really zealous in the Raven Queen Church that was like, and like whatever for the cause? Like, we need, this could be,
hold up.
part of the cause.
Well, I mean, if he could have just taken over Orin, he could have probably taken over one of his minions. That, clearly that's not enough. But I think as a good insurance policy, now, I think if anything, I would be quite well suited. And this is not, listen, hear me out. This is not a power trip. But he wouldn't be the only one who's occupying real estate with me. And
So
I
Varric
can
says,
show
wait,
that
what's
you guys
going
are
on
still
here?
I can still, and Surtur is, quite opposed to him. So he would, not only would I be Zation, but he would be, he wouldn't be the only one who he would not be able to completely take control. That
Or
being said,
maybe he takes control of both you and Surtur.
well, Surtur is a god. He's, I don't think
Surtur
he's
would
that
say-
strong.
A minor god,
A
a
little more
lesser god.
I'm not there, old lady. Can she hear me? No, of course she can't. Look, you're not giving your body to the Shadow Lord. That's a terrible idea.
I'm not. I'm still, I'm saying to him, but hear me out. I say, but I also go to him. I say before we could agree to this, though, let's double check with Xerxes. If this claim about not being able to fully possess Zation, if Xerxes is voices, a similar sentiment, then I don't see an issue. If if he has his reservations, then
No, he didn't. He was addressing
me in my head.
Malin in his head. Not
Oh
you.
yeah, I mean, because I was just responding to Malin and what Malin had said. So I don't. Yeah, I was confused. Sorry.
Yeah, he was talking in response to that in Malin's head.
I see. Okay.
I'm just saying. We double check with Xerxes on this, and then if this is the case, then
And if Xerxes cautions you against your plan, are you going to listen to him any more than you're listening to us?
well,
Give
Xerxes.
me. I'll say, Glenn, give me another saving throw with advantage, wisdom. Alright. So you feel the connection is weakening, and you think at this point you could sever it if you want, the connection with Gaivok.
Oh, but he couldn't before.
Before,
Yeah.
no, before he just kind of attached it. Though it didn't seem like well, you hope he didn't do anything else to you. It just seemed like he latched onto you when you reached
hope.
out. But yeah, you
Remember
feel
our
like
friend
it's weakening
Erical,
over
who told
time.
you all to stop
Probably.
letting people touch-
I'm just.
Remember Erical, who told you all to stop letting people touch your minds?
But yeah, you think over time, like, it probably has to do with him, like, being, stuck in the essence of the Shadowfell regenerating. So he probably doesn't have nearly the power he did as a fully formed being. But yeah, you feel the connection weakening.
Okay.
But yeah, I said let's talk to Xerxes, and then, if Xerxes, caution says we could be fully taken over, then yeah, I will, Xerxes is quite knowledgeable on this type of thing, and, I do trust his judgment on this.
Well, this is a dangerous gamble, my friends. Velik says,
We're dangerous people.
Uslag just like
guess-
puts
Yeah.
her hands like in her face and like or face in her hands and just like tears at her hair as she's like leaning against the table.
Since
I don't
highly
Yeah, I
can't
would
happen
probably-
again.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's all she says. She's just tearing at her hair.
Oh,
Estrella would probably like go and kind of like put a hand on Uslag's shoulder because I feel a little.
It's very frustrating sometimes for
Sometimes just to feel not like you're not being heard. Glenn's always heard those silvery words of his, but sometimes we speak in vain, it seems. I understand your frustration.
I shoot her a weird look and say, "Wait, hold up! Didn't Xerxes remove Arden's relic's hold? Obviously, I'm not saying Gaivok is a completely different level than obviously Arden relic, but if
I'm open to asking for Xerxes' counsel on this. I
and
think
if
that's actually
if Satyan can't be fully controlled and Xerxes can also remove him from me, then I think
Yeah, let's see
Uslag.
what Xerxes has to say about it.
Uslag,
Sorry, just looks done.
your friend was it Zarek? What was her
Zaris.
name?
Zaris.
Zaris. Your friend Zaris, you said was Zatian, did you not?
He was so back when
And
we
he
didn't
lost
understand what it
control.
was.
Right, in the beginning, I remember you saying it took some time to take hold of him, but it was also weaker than it is now, then. Was it not?
Seems so. But it still was able to slowly change the way he saw things, the
And
choices
that's
he
my
made,
concern.
how he reacted to things.
That's my
It,
concern. He said
And the
that
second
he
time we
cannot-
encountered him, it was like he wasn't even there.
He'll mentally speak to Gaivok and says, "My friends have some valid concerns. You say that you can't permanently hitch a ride on a Zatian, but from what my companion Uslag says, that's not exactly true."
He says, what is she referring to? I cannot hear outside of your own thoughts.
He turns to Uslag and he puts his hand on his shoulder. What was your? So it sounds like you said Gavok took over someone else that was Zatian.
Yeah, he would remember Zaris.
And so he mentally mentions a person named Zaris.
And he only left when Uslag and the early Splitlanders
He says,
expelled him.
Yes, the tiefling. She says the one who I previously inhabited. This is strange with that one. His connection became severed, and then he became more easily manipulated. He says, I don't know if he was a true Zation, or perhaps he maybe lost his abilities as a Zation. I couldn't tell you. Give me an insight check.
Yeah, I'm like, you gaslight me. Take a second for the sheet to open. Come on. That was intimidation.
You think he's being honest? It doesn't seem like, as much as you can judge a disembodied voice, though you can kind of see his form in your mind. But yeah, you don't think he's lying. You don't sense deceit.
I don't, he says out loud, I don't sense any deceit in his words, but he claims that your friend Zaris might not have been a full Zatian or somehow lost their powers.
That's interesting.
Can Zatian powers be lost? Let's ask Xerxes. Don't ask
Just
your.
if it's like a
friend that.
connection that can be severed, then I mean it makes sense. But
Yeah.
otherwise, there'd be so many Zatian.
Speaking of
That's a good point.
connections that can be severed, Glenn.
He'll mention back to Guyvok, like, hey, my party members want to try and find some assurances first before we do this. I assume that's okay.
He says, whatever you need. I mean, I can only give you my word, though obviously you have no reason to trust me. I'm at your mercy at this, as I am. As you can probably sense, I cannot maintain this connection, nor do I have the strength to really do much to you. It is you who sought me out in my purgatory.
All right. If I sending to you again, I should be able to contact you again.
Says yes. Just open your mind so I can connect. Fail your wisdom save.
All right, I'm going to. I'll cut our connection now while my team seeks out their assurances. I'm sure I'll contact you again in the next couple days.
Alright, so he would fade from your mind as you sever the connection.
So it is not just Malin who dabbles with fire.
He
I go up
opens
to
it.
Glenn and I pat him on the shoulder, like, I'm like, damn.
I've severed the connection. He's no longer there. I'm not.
You
I'm
hope.
safe. Well, yeah.
And that Lich, is he still there?
Yeah. He's still there. Hey.
Yeah,
I don't think he
Hey,
can
Thovik.
communicate with you unless he uses sending, right?
I don't think so, but he just
Yeah.
kind of like
But
he waves in front of his own eyes, like, "What's up, Thovik?"
He's on his sofa eating some popcorn. It's like, oh, he mentioned me. I love this
My
show.
favorite TV show.
Yeah. That's me. I'm Thovik.
I mean, he
And
is probably really
all the
bored and
skeletons
lonely.
are just like, yeah, we know. I'm Thovik. All right, sorry. Go ahead. What are you doing?
He just kind of again he puts his hand on his shoulder and he's like, I'm sorry that I'm playing with fire a little bit here.
She looks a little pissed, but
I'm like beaming with them, like, oh, my man.
just shakes her head. I'm sorry I slapped you. I was scared. I thought he had. She can't finish her sentence.
It's okay. I should have. I probably should have. Told
I'm
you
immune
guys
to
what I was
fear, and
doing.
I was scared. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I probably should have told you guys what I was doing. I'm sorry.
No. Oh,
We wouldn't have been able to
contact-
talk you out of it, I'm sure.
Let's contact
Fine.
Malik next.
It's all
Malik,
just
to Malik.
great sigh.
Well,
I
honestly,
mean, I am being a little bit of a troll, but
we might have spent more time. Oh, not me, but Uslag might have encountered, overall, been in contact with Malik more than Gaivok, because we spent time with Blackwater in the early game, and we that first BBEG encounter was Malik, and well, I guess we haven't really. Anyway, I don't know. I was just thinking out loud. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah. Reminiscing.
It might be on a par because you guys spent all the time with Gaivok when your companion was possessed. So yeah, never mind.
Yeah, we were clueless for a really long time. Yeah.
Velik says, well, this has been an interesting meeting, but
Well, yeah, like I say, and you know what? We'll be safe. You know, we're not gonna let what happened to your friends Eris happen to any of us. I promise.
Ooh. Don't promise that which you cannot control. That is something I have learned.
Agreed. Yeah. She just shakes her head. It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Yeah, I just winced a little bit. Sorry.
well, just be careful, Glenn. It's a dangerous game you're playing.
Excellent intentions and well-laid plans aren't always enough to control that which is bigger than you know.
Nine
Nice words,
roads.
it's
He
great.
sighs. He looks over at Malin. I gave you shit about having a hero complex, but it looks like I have, I might have the same thing.
I pat him on the back, say, "It's addicting, isn't it?"
There.
All right. Well, is
It's
there
been a lot.
anything-
I need to go hit something. It just goes and does her goes to
Just walks
wherever.
away. All right.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else we want to do before we wrap for the evening? A lot of good role play this session. Character development going on.
Yeah, I was literally pacing in my room.
10 out of 10. 10 out. This is peak content.
Started with Yali attacking, quote unquote, Malin, and then Glenn decided to phone the Shadow Lord. It's like, wait
I
a
was like,
minute,
"Why haven't I done
guys.
this before?"
I think I have his number. And Uslag, do you have his number? Oh yeah, it's blah blah blah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, man,
Realize what
It's
you were
like,
gonna
wait,
do
what are
with
you
that
doing?
information.
This is the
And
Shadow
the fact
Lord
that
speaking.
there's the fact that there's the budding attraction and stuff too, actually makes that all the more poignant. Like that scene for Uslag, seeing him potentially reach out mentally when Uslag has
Yeah.
seen him.
And having seen a good friend of hers be possessed by oh my god. Oh my god. She thought she thought that was gonna happen again.
Not cool, Glenn.
I'm just like, oh man, I'm gonna.
She needs to process this. She's gonna go hit stuff.
Yeah, he's like, he's gonna
Process through murder.
give it a few minutes and then probably go after.
Yeah.
Alright, why don't we do MVP votes? We'll pick it up next time.
My goodness. Everyone was so good.
The best. The absolute peak.
Yeah, it's too bad Eli wasn't here. Curious how he would have reacted to all this.
Honestly, I should beef with Eli more. Didn't all his family get killed by the fire giants?
Yes. Eli.
Yeah, he would probably have issues with
even
certain.
though that
Beef with-
kind of got pushed to the wayside, that was a big motivation for him to work with those assassin dwarves, was to kill off the fire giants.
He got a beef with me. Like, he should beef with me.
He's concealing
Well,
it
the
well,
problem
but
is like
it's probably
he
getting
pulled
dread.
he left the game for so long, so it didn't really give his
Probably, yeah.
character a chance to develop that
Yeah.
that connection.
Too bad,
in
because
the
that would have been
story.
really fun.
I'm so glad he came back because honestly,
Yeah.
sometimes when PCs leave, even if they, or not PCs, but players leave, even when they intend to come back, it doesn't always happen. So it was really nice that he did.
Yeah.
And I'd rather him be here sometimes than not at all.
We're glad to
Right,
have
right.
you, Eli, in case you're
Yeah.
listening to the stream.
Well, Malin with 2 votes, you are MVP.
Wow.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, good game, everyone. There's a lot of good RP in there.
Honestly,
Just
even though I claim to be a min-max player, these sessions are far more fun, to be honest.
I love
Yeah,
these
I'm
type
having
of
a blast.
sessions where like there's a bunch of character growth.
Mhm.
It's, I mean, the
That's
battle's
great.
fun too, but it's good to space it
Yeah,
out
my
with other stuff.
intention is always to sit, like, for Estrella, is to sit back and observe. Like, not that she doesn't care, but she generally is more just kind of like observing and like not interfering and like go
Then
with the
dropping
flow and what
wisdom
have you.
later, yeah.
But it's so hard for me as a player, like, to be like, no, don't do it. And that seeps into her sometimes. I guess maybe she's got some repressed do-goodery that, and she's not really as neutral as I claim.
Well, and I've always viewed Star Druids as like storytellers almost.
Well, that's her whole thing. The god she worships, who is both her druidic and her cleric deity, is like the whole like pursuit in the worship of this god is the valuing knowledge and experiences, just going out and gathering and exploring and traveling and yeah.
Well, and exactly, and that's what a storyteller does. They watch and they then weave it into story. But honestly, she has the most.
I'm not
She
sure
has the
how
most.
well. I'm
She
not
has
sure
the
how
most in
well.
common with Glenn.
Yeah. Honestly, I would love that. I don't know how well Miriam, can interestingly play a storyteller because I'm just not real good at like improv and stuff, So, but like that sounds lovely. But and I'm sure Estrella has many stories in her head, but maybe she just doesn't have the charisma to weave them and tell them like maybe a bard would or more a better storyteller.
Make a constellation in the sky, Malin. Tell the story of Malin's rise and fall.
I mean, to be honest, like, I mean, like, I am kind of like leading.
One.
I am kind of leading in that direction. I mean, you guys saw my updated story.
Sort of
Horizon stuff.
situation.
I am kind of leading in
every
that
time
direction.
every time a really, really dangerous possibility comes up, like, oh, I can commune with an evil god, maybe gets power. Oh, Gaivok is looking for a host. Like, I mean, you're just like, me, pick me.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and Malin's just got dueling banjos in his head.
I think that's just. It's funny. I don't mean like this is more so like I think it'd just be really funny for me to play out. Like this is like the character beating out the actual PC's personality because I'm like that'd be actually really fucking funny. So
It would be. That's why I was just like, you know what? That makes sense, actually.
So Lou, when I asked you the other day about like that token flippy thing, if it can have more than 2 sides, and you said it can, do you mind if I give you some more tokens for Estrella and Slurp for their forms?
Yeah.
Then
I
I
mean,
don't-
you
Then
can.
I don't have to use
If
it.
you have a game, you can just make these tokens. Do you have
I'm not
like a Roll20 game?
I'm not currently paying for.
Oh, you don't have to pay. I don't think. I think you can.
I can't import into a game if I don't pay. I can only extract out.
Well, you can.
Or wait, no, or is it the other way around? I don't know. I did it at one point, and because I haven't played in person for so long, I just canceled my subscription.
To Roll20, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, you should still be able. Well, I actually don't know about the.
Oh, you know what? I'll
builder.
play with it. Let me play with it. It's been a while since I tried. I feel like after
Yeah.
I canceled my subscription, I tried to do something like that at one point and I couldn't, and I
Well,
had done it before.
But I'll check it
Yeah.
again. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not sure what the rules are for that, but I think you can move characters into a game as long as you have permissions to do it. And I think all my games have or are giving permissions, but basically you just make a table and you set the different tokens to different results on that table. Then you just click the token button. And
All right.
you can,
so you want me to try and build it and import it?
if you want, you can play around with it. Otherwise, like, if you want to send me the images, I can do it. It's not that hard. Just tell me what the image is for.
I guess you can give it to me.
All right. Well, GG's guys. Again, great session. I would like to talk more, but I literally have to get
Oh,
up
yeah,
crazy early tomorrow.
Okay.
Obviously,
Sleep well.
we can keep talking in our roleplay or whatever chat. But again,
For sure.
love the session,
There's
guys.
a lot to unpack.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Get ready for a mediocre journal.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know, like, I feel like you guys are some of the best journalists in the server, and, like, you know, so I'm in other games where my journals are the longest and the most detailed, and everyone else's are just, like, basic outlines, and then in this game, I'm like, oh, mine suck.
I feel like we haven't gotten to see that many just because you've been so busy. I feel like that.
Well, yeah, that's true. But honestly, I also, like, I had a shtick with, like, Jingle and with Arapel and with some of my other characters. I have a kind of like an approach to the journals that makes it fun for me. I don't really have that for a